So, what we want to talk about today is the day the Earth stood still from social media. Basically, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp was out for about, well, not 24 hours, but a day, like a work day. I'd say maybe it was out for like 10 hours, even that. Let's Google it. Let's look it up. 6 hours. Outage lasted for about 6 hours. That's not even a day. Okay, so funny enough, I do surveys. You know, I've mentioned this before. I do Ledger Web surveys, and one of the questions that popped up was, actually, it wasn't for Ledger Web. It was for some other platform. But they're like, how much did it affect you? How much did it affect my life? That Facebook outage for a day, even though it's 6 hours. So multiple choice. The first one was it affected me a lot. The second was it affected me a little bit or a moderate amount. And then the last one is it didn't affect me at all. Sorry. So a lot, moderate, or not at all. I couldn't say it didn't affect me at all because, I mean, I use social media on a daily basis. Like, I use it to connect with not just my friends and family, but like, you know, it's for my business clientele. It's like part of my advertising. So yeah, I'd say I couldn't say that it didn't affect me. Did it affect me a lot? I'd say no. Like, yeah, I was a little annoyed. I'm like, why aren't my WhatsApp messages going through? Because I do primarily rely on WhatsApp for most of my direct messaging. Yeah, I have Signal. I have all the other. Well, how many do I have? I'll show you. Over time, I've developed a number of these. I've uninstalled some of them. Some of them like are the ones where you just leave voice messages for people. I forget what that one's called. But I have Signal. I used it for a few people, but I don't really talk to those people that much anymore. So I'm back on WhatsApp. Cheers, by the way. Cheers. Good Sunday. Good Sunday. It's just not that sweet. I would have liked it a little sweeter. Anyway. Oh, you know what I'm gonna do? I have an idea, guys. Be right back. This will be fun.
Yo.
Alright. Oh, Deji's here. Deji's here.
Hello.
Yo.
I'm joining on Video Engine in a moment. Just
Cool.
wrapping up some stuff.
I'm having drinks. I'm drinking alcohol today. So.
Oh.
We got Good Sunday, and I have a twisted tea.
I will pour a glass of some Jameson.
I'm gonna have in a glass half twisted tea and half Good Sunday gin soda lemon, which should be good. It's like lemon iced tea.
Wow. That's fancy.
This should be good.
It's fancy.
I just spoke it.
So wait, you were coming from a wedding?
Yeah, I shot a wedding today, Orthodox, from Kettleby, in Kettleby.
Kettleby, how far is that?
It's like an hour north. 40 minutes if there's no traffic.
You said the furthest you've gone for a wedding is like, what, 3 hours or 5 hours?
Well, I went to Ottawa for one. No, dude, I went to the Dominican for one. So, there. I flew 5 hours.
Okay. Oh, okay. A destination wedding. Was that your one of many destination weddings?
Nah,
or
the only one so far. It was dope.
Where would you rank it amongst? Like, do you have a ranking for like the best weddings you've shot?
I mean, there's different categories for best. I'd say, like, you know, like extravagant best, like, you know, best decor type of thing.
Like, your most enjoyable experience.
I'd say most wholesome, enjoyable was definitely that one. It was a week long.
Dominican one?
Yeah, like Kyle, Warren, and Day and Ren came.
Okay. Nice.
So on my off time, I got to chill with them. So that was awesome.
Nice. Yeah, gotta do it.
And I met someone there. So.
Yeah.
No, that was another one. That was the German that I met. I met a German there.
Oh, okay. All right.
and it became something. Like I went to Germany because of it, and then I went to Europe and did a Euro trip and everything. It was dope.
Wow.
Anyway.
Dope. So Kettleby, huh? How many people were at this wedding?
Like 150 people. Orthodox, Jews. It was cool. Like they're a cool bunch. It was nice to see like a party type of environment again. But this venue, compared to, let's say, the venue I did 2 days ago, this venue was more like you got to sign in, you got to show proof of vax. If you didn't have proof of vax, they were administering rapid testing. Yeah.
Oh.
I was like, and then I had to get like this bracelet here. I had to get a bracelet so that I could walk around. Whereas 2 days ago, the wedding I shot that day, also a Jewish wedding, but at a different venue, they said we were gonna get all checked and tested and all that stuff. But nobody actually asked me.
Damn.
And like nobody wore a mask. Like none of the guests wore masks. But barely any of the guests wore masks.
Oh.
But I do now. I definitely I wear masks.
We got different rules, man.
I don't know these people. Like, I don't know if they're carrying COVID or not.
Yeah. And you've got your second shot, or are you still waiting for that?
No, I'm double.
You're double A?
Double Pfizer, yeah.
Double Pfizer. Well, I guess it's a good thing those people that you shot today didn't have their wedding on, what was it, Monday? Tuesday?
Why? What happened?
That everything went down?
Oh. You know what? I'll tell you that too. So it's good that you segue back to that. But I'll say 2 days ago, the bride and groom were supposed to get married a month ago, but they got COVID. So they had to postpone. Yeah.
Alas.
Yeah, man, like I know they're all comfortable with each other and everyone's like, you know, claiming to be double vaxxed and like responsible, but man, I don't know these people. So if I'm indoors, I do wear a mask around people, unless I'm eating. But like, yeah, outdoor I feel less pressured. I will take my mask off if I have some space. Outdoor.
Yeah, I don't trust humans, but I trust humans to be human.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good way to put it.
You know, like, yeah, human beings lie, so I'll trust you to just do that. You may be truthful, but you may be lying.
So you mentioned, good thing they didn't have it on the outage, which I think was Monday. I'm gonna say it was Monday.
Yeah, bright and early.
Apparently, it only lasted 6 hours. Did you feel that it was longer than 6 hours?
I heard it was 9 hours, and that 3 billion people lost access.
Yeah, I don't doubt. And okay. So I found out some new information today about it from one of the guests. But I looked at, I googled it, and the outage was 6 hours.
Oh, 6 hours, eh?
And it felt like.
Here's a result from search.
Oh crap! My phone heard me say Google.
Oh, that's scary.
Yeah. It felt like a day. You know, it was back by the evening, and I know some of the messages did go through in the morning. So the same day, there was news of the whistleblower, right? Did you hear about
the whistleblower?
Yeah.
Yes, I was just listening to a podcast about it, but yeah.
So I thought the narrative was, from at least our chat, was that that was related. Like, this news came out, so Facebook, in order for it to not go viral on the platform, intentionally went down to avoid the outage. Did you hear about that?
That is really interesting and makes practical sense to me.
It sounds like it, but apparently not. But I found out today on my just before I left the wedding, it was a DNS, like a DNS server went down.
Who pushed the server down?
I'm gonna show this podcast example here. from the New York Times. Facebook says its outage was caused by a cascade of errors. So here's the narrative. October 5th, 2021. So what day is it today? October 7th. Yeah, okay, so that was the day after it happened, the 4th. Oh yeah, it was my dad's birthday. I was like, we couldn't even FaceTime him to like sing happy birthday because
Your dad's birthday is October
4th.
6th? 4th? Oh, shit, my dad's birthday is October 5th.
Oh snap, dude.
It's crazy.
All right. So here, I'm gonna read this out. No copyright infringement intended. Obviously, this is just reading the New York Times by Kate Conger. A cascade of mistakes made during maintenance on Facebook's network caused the outage that took its service offline Monday. The company said in a blog post published Tuesday. Facebook's family of apps, which includes Instagram, WhatsApp, Messenger, were offline for more than 5 hours as employees scrambled to repair the damage. More than 3.5 billion people around the world use Facebook services to communicate with friends and family, distribute blah 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 blah. The initial problem occurred in a network Facebook calls its backbone, which connects its data centers around the world, a vice president of infrastructure at Facebook wrote in the blog post. During maintenance of the network, a command was issued to assess how much capacity was available, but the command backfired, disconnecting the network and blocking Facebook's data centers from communicating. An audit tool designed to catch mistaken commands failed to detect the error. But it was just the beginning. This change caused a complete disconnection of our server connections between our data centers and the internet, and the total loss of connection caused a second issue that was... Okay. So basically, yes. Some guy was doing some routine maintenance thing. Command was an error, and it screwed up all of Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, which is insane.
3 billion people's day. What the fuck?
Now, one of the guys today was like, "How much do you think it cost them?" I'm like, "Cost them? Like, what do you mean?" It's like, "Well, it costs them." Like, they make revenue on a daily basis, right? Off their whatever ads, click-through rate, whatever data collection they do. If you were to guess how much they lost in that 6-hour period, let's say, or in that day, what would you guess was the loss of money?
Well, if I hadn't heard on a podcast that it was 7 billion, I would have said probably at least $1 billion.
$1 billion.
At least $1 billion.
I heard... Oh man, that's even more. Someone said 7 billion?
Yeah. I would have assumed at least 1 billion.
1 billion in 6 hours? I would maybe 24 hours, I believe that. Apparently it's $160 million an hour. So
what does that come up to? That's almost, well, that's like a 3/4 of a bill.
It's almost $1 billion. Yeah. So yeah, you're
Man.
right. It's $1 billion. That's damn.
Bruh, that's crazy. Because like money's just flying through the air.
Now, I get how they make money on Instagram. I get how they make money on Facebook. How do they make money on WhatsApp? Is there ads on WhatsApp?
I think WhatsApp now is $1 for some people because I have to pay a $1 fee
For the
and
app?
and a 3 billion. Well, it's a 3 billion users for that network. I don't know how many users are on WhatsApp itself, but if everyone's paying $1,
Yeah, but that's one time though. That's a
per
one
year.
time
It's a
per
year thing.
year?
Yeah.
Oh.
So 3 billion a year? That's not bad.
Okay,
That's fucking excellent.
Maybe maybe I am paying. Maybe it's coming out of my Google Pay AdSense thing or ads.
Because I definitely had to pay for it at some point, like a $1 fee, something tiny.
I mean, I'd pay $1 a year.
I'd fucking pay
guess.
it. I'm surprised we're still getting Twitter for free, to be honest. Like, we should
Why?
have
What's
been
so big
paying
about
for that.
Twitter?
Like, so many people have made so much money on Twitter just from like the ability to network with other people.
Oh.
Like, I hear it all the time, like, because it baffles me because I don't know how you would make money on Twitter, but I hear it consistently. Like, people are just like, fam, I made so much money on Twitter, it's ridiculous.
I
You know?
like
I guess just connecting with people,
okay.
you know? Like, that would be the only way I would see it because you can't fucking...
If you think of
And, like, posting your stuff.
I'm more shocked that that Instagram is not, sorry, what am I talking about, is free. YouTube is free.
I mean, it is, but there's like the premium shit.
Well, I guess if you want some subscriber base thing that gives you ad-free experience, but think about all the content creators that like fill up their servers with content. You know, just like gigs and gigs of storage for all this stuff people are uploading, and it doesn't cost them anything.
Yeah.
If anything, they can make money, and Google will pay them to use their servers and storage. Whereas, you know, when we're getting a Dropbox or a Google Drive or a OneDrive or whatever it is that we use for sending files to people, you pay for that.
Yeah.
Like, you pay for that storage every year. I pay Google every month for 100 gigabytes.
Damn. How much you pay a month?
Oh, it's like $4 a month to get 100 gigs of storage on the cloud.
Yeah, I'm looking at doing that.
Yeah, it's if you don't, I think the standard free is 15 gigs, which is also a lot.
Yeah, man, it's not. It's not for me.
For media people like us, yeah, no, it's not. Like, we can fill that up with just email attachments, right? Like,
I have 4 Google accounts and they're all full.
Yeah. Okay, well then, yeah, you pay $4 a month, dude, and just do Google surveys. Just join Google surveys. Like, look that up on Google.
Oh, yeah?
And every one that you answer gets you anywhere between 10 cents to like 40 cents. But if you go out a lot, each question it's just a question. Every time you do a survey, it's one question, multiple choice, and you get either 10 cents or all the way up to like 40 cents. And you do like, you know, a few of those every month or a handful of those every month. If you go out a lot, then you can pay for your Google services. You can pay for your storage. Anyway, so wait, do you use anything else besides WhatsApp? Do you use Signal now too? Oh, Deji switched to you clicked.
Sorry about that. Accidentally switched to the BROL.
Yeah, I think that means
channel.
Brack of Legends. Brack of Legends.
No, I can't hear you. Hold on a second.
Oh, you can't hear? Technical difficulties.
Can't
yo.
hear a thing.
I feel like snacking too. I need to get some chips and some ice cream. Today's gonna be nice and chill. Who's with us today in the chat? We got Crash Test Dummy. What's up?
I think I got it. I'm just gonna connect my microphone and then we're all set. Hop on video.
Cool.
Crash Test Dummy?
I'm gonna get Crash Test Dummy is as Mike. That's Mike.
Oh.
Mike
Nice.
Core.
When's David coming?
Today he might be coming. He was on earlier. He was.
No, I mean like to Canada.
Oh yeah, he's coming in a couple weeks. Maybe less than a couple weeks. So chill soon. We'll probably do a podcast with him being right here next to me, right there.
Nice.
So, I was saying in the beginning, one of the surveys I took recently from another platform was like, how much did it affect me? That outage. How much did that Facebook outage for 6 hours affect me? And it's a multiple choice question. A, did it affect you a lot? B, moderate affect you? Or C, not at all? How would you answer that?
Now.
Oh, you're really quiet.
What was before not at all? Moderately?
Moderate. So a lot, moderate, not at all.
Yeah, I would have needed a fourth option between moderate and not at all.
Same. I couldn't say not at all. I'd say a little bit.
Yeah.
But not like it bothered me to like oh my god, my life is so stuck. Like, it wasn't bored or anything. There's so much other stuff to do. It's just that it was a nuisance. It was more of a nuisance because, one, I couldn't message a bunch of people that I normally do on WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Right. and if we don't message them on WhatsApp, we go to Instagram, but that was down too. So it's like you're not gonna go on Messenger or Facebook because that was down. So what else is there? You don't. I don't DM people through Twitter.
Phone numbers.
Direct
Their
text.
actual phone
I guess
numbers?
you could do direct text.
SMS.
I hate that. I did it. I ended up doing that with like my siblings anyway. Where like I think WhatsApp's down or Messenger's down. Email? Do you think anybody decided to email each other?
What? Hell no.
But that's what that. If you think
They
it's
would
the
have
same
rather
thing.
like had radio silence for 48 hours before emailing somebody. Like people are not. People need convenience. Like they want to pull up their phone and text you immediately.
But you get the same. It's the same. What's the word? Like downtime if you hit send. It's the same amount of times to reach you, and then you just reply back and you send, and it's the same experience really. Just new windows.
It might be technically, but psychologically to the user, they're gonna be so pissed off that they have to do it. Like, oh my god, I gotta go to my inbox. Oh god, I gotta type in your address. You
No,
know,
just hit reply. Okay, so I guess yeah, direct text was the immediate answer. Other people was like use Signal, but no one's gonna like install a new app just to chat. You know, just to like chat for 6 hours for a day.
oh, that's a new app. That was what they're using.
Signal is WhatsApp without the privacy issues of WhatsApp.
Oh, shit! I'm getting that.
It's basically, yeah, you use a phone number, you install the app in your phone, and then it looks for all the phone numbers in your contacts for other people who have Signal, and then it's just like WhatsApp.
Shit, I need that. I heard Edward Snowden was talking about that. Not trust that motherfucker.
Snowden?
Yep.
Why do you trust him? Because he was
He has a
whistleblower?
trustworthy face.
He's a trustworthy face.
Like whistleblowers, I think on a general level, they're benevolent people that want to see the world become a better place. Like, why are you risking your career and your comfy position? Or I mean, maybe it's after you got fired or something, or there's some controversy. But why would you risk potential, what's that word? Backlash,
Okay.
or like probable harm to come to your person by spilling the dirt on a major corporation? Like something has to be really wrong. You know?
Yeah. It's morally kind of responsible to whistleblow, I guess, you know?
Yeah.
Like even what happened with Blizzard and all the
Blizzard, what is that?
Blizzard is the gaming company that makes Diablo, World of Warcraft,
Okay.
StarCraft. Basically a lot of sexual harassment going on in the company.
Jesus, what's going on with my connection?
Again?
Okay. This is not working.
What?
I'm gonna connect to.
What? We lost him. We lost Deji. But yeah, I'll say
Can you hear
to
me?
finish.
I'm on my laptop
Hey! Okay, we can hear you. We can hear you. And Kyle's decided to join. Woo!
now. Oh shit.
Woo!
Hold on. God
Hello,
damn it.
test.
Hello, Kyle.
I need to fix my output so I can hear
I
you.
was looking lonely in there. I was like, all right, you mentioned Blizzard. All right,
Hold
here
on.
comes AA.
Was that a whistleblowing thing, or was
There we
that
go.
just
Okay, now I can hear you.
like the Weinstein thing? Like,
I think it was just more like Weinstein. It was like, let's bring some attention to the shit that was or is happening. Let's hope it's not happening anymore. But yeah, it didn't have anything to do with like the Facebook stuff. But
oh no, yeah,
Yeah.
how did I get into that?
Sorry. Hey, Kyle.
sorry, what?
I said, hey, Kyle. Sorry, after I missed what you were saying about Blizzard.
What's up?
Oh, oh yeah, Kyle, please explain what Blizzard is.
I'm probably as close as it comes to a Blizzard fanboy. Like I've been playing Blizzard games pretty much exclusively since I was like a teenager.
Can you give me an example of a Blizzard game? 'Cause I feel like I know what their logo looks like because I played some of their games.
Well, World of Warcraft would be the biggest one.
I haven't
Um,
played that.
StarCraft is a
Haven't played
game
that.
that we played in university, like Dede and Mike. I mean, probably our friendship at the beginning grew pretty strong because StarCraft 2 came out and we just played the crap out of it together. Like War was in that. Like pretty much a lot of us were playing that. Oh
Okay.
yeah, nice chips.
Cool, cool. All right. So what did
Yeah.
Blizzard do?
Diablo, Overwatch, Hearthstone.
Oh, I was alluding to that maybe that there was a whistleblowing scenario in there, but it's not really whistleblowing. It was like,
If anything, it can be categorized within like the Me Too movement, I guess. It was just female workers coming out, and what happened was there was some photos taken that were leaked, or not leaked, but like brought up that were quite incriminating.
Shit.
yeah, photos that were distributed among the rest of the company for the sake of.
Like they were, like they were these dirty men at like a corporate ball, a gala or something. Like they were spreading these nudes of this one girl or something like that, and
Oh shit.
it was just bad. It was just bad. It was
And-
bad.
And yeah, that one girl didn't even was like, she went on a business trip with a higher up, and she thought she was going for like administrative purposes, and
no.
then she discovers that this exec guy brought like sex toys and certain things with him, and like wanted her to participate.
Oh.
So yeah, stuff like that. And I
That's
guess
cool.
she wasn't down, but she had lewd photos already in circulation, so there was like pressure for her to, I don't know.
Is that the girl that killed herself?
Maybe, yeah, maybe that was
Because
the one.
one, I think it was the one that had the photos circulating. She ended up taking her own life.
Oh my God.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so then you hear a lot of other stories of how the higher ups like basically treat the woman like shit, like objects, and basically everyone that left or was fired, they were guilty.
Dang.
And I don't know about the other higher ups. Years ago, all the big heroes that made these original games and made Blizzard what it is or what it was, they had left already.
Yeah.
And to what I understand, or let's hope not, but I don't think they were. I don't think they were part of that nasty culture. If anything, it would make sense that they saw what was happening and they're like, what, this is nasty, I'm out. So now they're off like making their own game studios. So if they come out with some nearly as good or revolutionary as the games I've been playing, I'll just jump ship.
Grim.
Just
Grim.
as disappointing for me as a huge fan. There are tons of people like me that have played Blizzard games for very, very long, and then just to see like shitty stuff happening like this, it's like, man.
Yeah, some shitty corporate culture.
Yeah.
I imagine Blizzard's not the only one. It can't be.
My guess is no,
But why do you think the news only came out with them? Like, if it's a Me Too, it's already part of the wave. There's gotta be other, not even just game design companies, but like just big corporations. Like, I imagine like Rogers, TELUS, Bell.
Communications.
Yeah.
Well,
Any kind of tech dominated industry.
what would have happened? I was thinking about your question earlier, and I was like, where were you when the outage happened? At home?
I was at home. I stayed at home.
That was like an off day, right?
Well, I had to teach a kid. I had to drive to Pickering to teach the kid, and that was really it, though.
Yeah.
I had like clients trying to reach me regarding some work, and like email is one thing, but like, yeah, I am with my regular clients, I am on a WhatsApp basis with a number of them.
Okay.
So like, I didn't know I wasn't getting messages until the messages I was sending out weren't delivering, or weren't even sending. They weren't even, not even just delivering, they weren't even sending. So I was like, something's up. And then I tried Facebook. I opened Facebook. Nothing was like updating. Nothing was loading. And then I woke up. I will open Instagram, and again, it's the only what was in my cache was opening. Like I couldn't like scroll anything. I couldn't click around. I'm like, okay, this is a Facebook wide thing.
Yeah. It's, yeah. The reason I was asking was because like that survey you took, where it was like moderate, very much, not at all. It'll probably be way more impacted if I wasn't doing anything. Like, because I had work that day.
Oh.
And I was like at work, and I was like, doing like work shit. So like randomly I'd scroll Instagram and see I couldn't scroll Instagram. So I'm like, oh, this is retarded. Oh, you can't say that word. And then I'd be like, oh, well, I guess I'll go back to work now. So,
okay, that was it?
Yeah. I knew it would get like, come back eventually, but then I started to just imagine like, okay, what would actually happen if this shit, because I was seeing people with reports like, oh, Facebook actually got deleted forever. It's like, what would happen if this was not temporary?
Let's just say the internet was down for a day.
Oh,
not
man.
even just WhatsApp. So I'd say for 6 hours, if the internet was down, including data. So like Wi-Fi doesn't work and data doesn't work. Basically a Rogers outage. If you have Rogers outage, that's basically what that is.
Yeah, I've experienced Rogers
outage. Okay, so that is actually like a catastrophe.
But it happens.
Yeah, it was not good.
Like, okay, on what type of, we're talking globally?
Well, yeah.
Because we're talking globally, right?
Yeah. We just lose the internet for 6 hours. The entire world loses the internet for 6 hours. Obviously, yeah, the stock market and all that would be.
I feel like a lot of people would die.
Die?
Yes, there would be a lot of death. And the reason I'm saying that is because there are things that we probably can't, like, that I can't even think of, but I'm positive exists, that are regulated by network connectivity and regulate people's, like shit that has to do with like healthcare, transportation,
maybe
like I'm thinking of people working in like a construction site, like things that are dangerous that need like safety mechanisms in place that are connected to some sort of network. If that network goes down and those safety measures are like, like think of like Chernobyl, right?
Okay.
Imagine Chernobyl's like a whole reactor system had to be kept in place by like a fucking, internet connection or something. Like that shit would just go offline and everyone would be fucked.
No, but there's fail safes. If you lose a network nothing will be built. Like especially a reactor like Chernobyl. Nothing would be built dependent on a live connection. Like there's gotta be one, either fail safe. So like if the connection happens, some protocol happens automatically. Or two, all that information and like process has already been preloaded. Down like like RAM, like cache, and then it runs that while there's no connection. Like we can still do things.
Yeah.
Like if you were on Google Maps and you don't have data. So
oh my god, I didn't even think of that shit.
So you're you're at home, you're on Wi-Fi, you use Google Maps, and then you tell it to pick a destination. Once you leave Wi-Fi, you lose data, but it'll still maintain the information, and there's still a GPS tracker. That's separate from the internet. The GPS.
Yeah, GPS is satellites, right? Global position satellite.
On a general level, I want to say you're right. Like there will be fail-safes built into a lot of things, but it won't be everything. And I'm sure something somewhere is going to need to have an internet connection or someone's going to die. Like I'm just thinking of like people just like losing money. Like you hear about it like with stockbrokers all the time. Like when they lose a whole bunch of money, they just kill themselves. Like imagine just like Wall Street just got like it just went completely black.
Well, yeah. Imagine you do short-term trades, and you do a move, and then you lose internet, and then you can't close the process, and you're like you can't get out. Yeah, you're screwed there
How many
for
people?
sure.
How many people would like? And like I'm even thinking of it in a way that like that level of like the internet right now is literally like water. If you think about it, like just the level of connection that we have globally, it's become an essential like life source. So if that were taken away, there would be death. I promise you. I
don't know,
I can't pinpoint how, but I know for certain people
I'm
would
gonna
die.
think a bunch of like little kids like run off cliffs or something because they have no internet. Just like
No, all their parents would just be like, no, their parents would be like, go outside, like go outside and play.
No, I mean like young like teens.
Young teens. Yeah, well, they have.
It's a joke, but I mean, you take phones away from some of these young teens, they go crazy.
Like Google Maps alone, I didn't even think about that because I'm geographically challenged. Like obviously there's paper maps and shit, but just imagine someone that's never had to use a paper map.
Yeah, they won't even know how to use it. They won't even know how to use it.
They couldn't go anywhere. They couldn't go to the grocery store. You can like pay for shit. Like you wouldn't be able to pay for shit. So people would definitely be stealing, and someone would definitely die.
Okay, true. All payment tech now is internet now.
God. We didn't even think about that.
No, but dude, cash.
You can't
Cash.
use Visa?
Who uses cash?
No, if you lose connection like that, they have to go back to their like carbon copy print system, which is delayed. It's not like instant. Even if they have that set up, but most of the time, if you get an outage like that, they only will accept cash that day. And if you can't, you can't buy it. They can't sell anything. Wow.
What ATM are you going to use to pull out the cash? Doesn't that require a network connection?
It might.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Like this is going to be pandemonium.
People don't carry cash these days at all.
Dude, no man. Like especially since the pandemic. What? You know, all these stores like they like for a point in time they stopped taking cash. Like
No, you're right.
I still buy it in a lot of Chinese places, and I pay cash there because they give you like 10% off if you pay cash.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So Kyle,
So, yeah.
did it affect you at all? The outage, 6 hours.
I like to chat with WhatsApp, and I realized that I can't. I was like, this is weird, because I always do it from my computer, and my computer, the WhatsApp web app wasn't loading. And I was like, oh, that's weird. And then I looked on WhatsApp itself, and the app loads. I didn't get any messages, and I can't send any. So I was like, oh, that's weird. And then all my family couldn't do anything either. So I was like, oh. And then they told me that it was down and Facebook and all this stuff. I was like, oh, okay.
Wait, how did we reach each other? Was it Discord?
I went on Discord and I was like, let me see what happens on Discord. And everyone's on Discord. So I was like, oh, okay. Well, so basically, no, it didn't affect me at all. But I mean, it was a short outage, really.
It felt pretty short, yeah.
I had worse with Rogers recently. Like, my modem would just cut off, and sometimes I would lose it for like the majority of a day.
Yeah.
And it got to a point where I had to call Rogers and be like, what the hell is happening? And so and when I lose Rogers, I lose cable TV, I lose internet, I lose everything. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Unless you go to a Starbucks and just go Wi-Fi.
Yeah, if I really needed the internet.
Or McDonald's, yeah.
But
no internet or data for 9 hours globally? Oh my god.
Yeah, globally it would be pretty crazy. I think
that would be a literal like man.
World War III.
That would be unprecedented. That would be unprecedented.
I think Trinidad would be all right, even though they are quite, my friends and family are quite dependent, just like us, on our phones. I picture just everyone just going to bars and just drinking anyway. Like you just pay cash in a bar anyway. Like it doesn't, So I figure they'll ride out the storm in bars.
True.
So
Once they
Yeah,
have
like the
beer
third
and rum,
world,
it's okay.
the third
My-
world countries would be okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like like when we lose power up here, everyone freaks out like when the lights go out, and I'm just like, what? Just light some candles for a while, whatever.
Yeah, very candles and kerosene lanterns. We had those back home.
Didn't even have those. We had kerosene though, but we were just
When I was in Nigeria, I would spend more of my life without power than with.
Yeah, that's
really?
Yeah, man.
Shit.
It's a fact.
How many years were there? Were you there?
9.
Oh shit.
That's a good length of time too, yeah.
So
Mhm.
5 of those years, you didn't have power.
Nah, probably like 70%, not even 80% of those 9 years, I didn't have power.
Oh my. Wow.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
bro. Like Nigeria, fuck. There was literally, it was so bad that there was literally like anytime the power came back on, you could hear cries in the street. Because okay, the power company was called NEPA, right? It stood for National Electric Power Authority, I think. Anytime the power came back on, you would hear literal shouts and cries in the street of people going, "Up NEPA!" Like you could hear that from like wherever you were in the house. Like people would just be shouting it, like you shouted it in your own house. Yeah, man.
Yeah, and just that story makes me appreciate my upbringing as well, because like I didn't have power, and I'm sitting there like, yeah, I grew up in a third world island, but yours is worse. So like, damn. So I mean, I had fun. Like when the power was out, it was the first person who could get the candles and the matches in the dark. That was fun. Like we could set up the candles, and yeah, like I still remember where they were in my house. Like I could imagine it. It's fun.
It's crazy.
But yeah, we at least we got enough outages to not take electricity for granted, or water. So that's
Okay.
good.
What do you mean or water? What do you mean there?
Like I had water,
Oh, okay.
and sometimes you don't have water.
Like you've had. When were the times where you didn't have water?
When?
And what's the
there's a-
duration? Like.
Days.
Good.
Yeah, because we had water tanks, right? So my dad invested in big tanks that sat up on the hill. So like basically our second story next to our house had a hill, and we put my dad put tanks up there, and they would collect rainwater
Okay.
just in case if we run out of public water, we have these tanks. And you have to be sparing, right? You have to take the showers with a bucket and a cup, right? Like I'm sure you've heard, and that's definitely a thing. You could definitely take a shower with like half a bucket of water and
Yeah.
a cup. So
Yeah, I know.
Totally.
yeah. So just it's nice to experience it so that you don't take it for granted.
Okay. Okay, that's me.
I remember we had to heat our bath water on stove, yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then
You have
pour it in.
cold water, and you just do one kettle, and then you add the kettle, and then it warms it, makes it lukewarm, or like a couple kettles, and then you can take your bath.
The craziest for me, I think, was when there was a cholera outbreak. You couldn't brush your you couldn't brush your teeth with any kind of water. Like everything that went on your face had to be boiled, because you don't want to catch cholera from the bad water.
Bruh.
Oh.
So you have to boil every bit of water that you ever put on your face. You want to wash your face? Use that boiled water. You want to brush your
Distilled,
teeth? Use
right?
that boiled water. You can't use the tap water. Tap water is bad. Like it was scary, because
Wow.
and the COVID stuff reminds me of, it kind of takes me back to that, where it's like there's a whole bunch of precautions before you do something that you thought was normal.
What's cholera?
It's
Like disease of the
disease. I want to
of
say.
I think
the.
you shit a lot.
Is it a disease or
So
a
is it a
virus?
gut?
I think it's a
Yeah,
disease.
it's an acute diarrheal illness caused by an infection of the intestine. So you shit a lot.
And then you just lose all your water and die. I mean,
Crazy.
you can get treated, but you can die as well.
Okay.
And in the outbreak, like I'm pretty sure hundreds of Trini died. I'm pretty sure it was
Man.
bad.
Damn.
And then we had the mosquito outbreak as well. We had dengue.
Malaria?
We had we still have dengue down there.
What's that?
Dengue
Heard of it.
fever. Dengue
Yeah.
fever is a fever you can get from a mosquito, and it'll knock you out. You'll be bedridden for a while. But kind of like COVID, if you are predisposed and you're at risk, let's say you have heart disease or something, you could die. Yeah, for sure. And then
Yeah.
we had
So it's a
malaria
virus too?
outbreak as well.
Dengue is a virus.
Dengue fever, yeah, it's a virus spread from mosquitoes.
Okay.
And then there's the malaria thing too. But malaria, I think we beat that.
Is that a virus too?
You know, I'm not sure. I'm not 100% because I don't know which ones are bacterial or viral.
I think
I
you
just
get
know
the-
they're really bad. Malaria might be bacteria? I don't know. I guess you'd have to look it up.
You guys watch Kurz Kazagd on YouTube?
Where's the what?
Yeah, the one with the little cartoons.
Yeah, it's a cartoon scientific channel that teaches about various things. And one of the last videos they did was about giant viruses. Did you guys hear about that?
Man, what?
So, COVID apparently is like a handful of genes. I can't remember the number, but it's small compared to like a normal person's like cell. Like a human cell has like, I don't know, about 100 genes in it or something like that. COVID has like 6 or 7 or something. But they've discovered there are viruses that are gigantic, about 100 times larger than the size of like COVID. But they were so large that we didn't know they were viruses until just recently. And they found out, so they're trying to still find out, is virus a living thing? Is virus not a living thing? And now they've found out that there's viruses that prey on these larger viruses as well. And the whole purpose of a virus is to just multiply. That's all. They want to survive and exist to multiply. And now they've recently discovered that some viruses prey on other viruses to multiply. Which is,
man,
Well, the worst virus is the humans, right?
bro. There's
but
too much.
are we alive or are we dead?
There's
Hey, we're
too
just
much
doing the same thing. We're just procreating and
happening.
using resources and destroying
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, we're basically a virus to the
full
earth.
I'm full Matrix on that one.
Yeah.
There's too much shit happening on this planet. There's just way too much shit going on. Like, why is the virus 100 times bigger than another virus?
Okay, now, question then. I was having this conversation with one of the guests earlier today. Having kids. Is it, at this point, selfish and, like, evil to procreate?
Evil.
Because you are bringing those new beings into this evil world that will die. Can't survive.
Wait, though,
Can't
but
survive.
has the world been more evil or less evil than it is right now throughout history? I would argue it's been more evil.
I'd say it's more evil now than ever.
Oh, what's your rationale behind that?
Like what's evil?
Well,
We all know what evil is.
you can
No,
all
no,
define.
like,
No,
no,
we'll all
what-
have to define it personally, separately.
Not what is evil, but what are you saying is the most evil?
So I'd like to
Humans
go
or the
last if
world,
that's okay.
society? What's-
Like, can I go last?
Okay.
Okay, so Deji, you said it was more evil in the past, and tell me,
I agree,
can you
so.
say why? What's your example that will say that? Like war?
War. There's a video on YouTube called It's on this channel called WatchMojo.com, and that channel does top 10 things. So it did the top 10 worst medieval torture methods, and I was like,
Yeah, torture was pretty fucked up back then.
I was like, yo, like humanity was just on some different shit back then, bro. I'm sorry, like
Yeah, 'cause
there,
you
yo,
could get away. You could get away with anything, right? Like if
bro,
you were a
like
torturer that worked for the king,
it
you
was
could do whatever you want.
different. Shit was different, bro. Like the general sense of morality we have now, I feel like is a lot more pleasant and benevolent than it was back then, you know. But
Okay.
yeah, man.
I may have to agree. So we're talking about the state of humans in the world.
Even and also the state of the world.
But humans.
So I'm talking about bringing in new life to this world, right? So
Okay.
not only exposing it to other humans, but also exposing them to the Earth that we have that we have brought it to be at this time.
Okay.
Not the Earth that it was, where Earth is now, which is dying. Like it's not gonna last. We
I
we
think-
have
yeah.
I think we've had that not agreement, but we've confirmed with the science that we are beyond being able to reverse what we've done, right?
Maybe.
Didn't we say that?
We said it?
Yeah.
No, sorry, me and Deji.
like
Me and Deji. We're
global
talking about
warming
like
and all that
global
shit, yeah.
warming.
And-
We've exceeded that time frame, like the year or the date. There was a date where if we didn't make drastic change, we couldn't reverse what we've done.
yeah.
Apparently,
I think
and
it's
we
the-
passed it.
I think it's the best time to be a human, but I think it's the hardest time to be a human.
Best but hardest.
I don't know if that makes sense. Because like you just look at just generally like there was a thread I saw on Twitter today that was like why are so many single people like against having kids right now? And it was like reason after reason after reason. And people were generally saying the world is fucked up and the cost of raising a child right now is significantly higher. And a lot of people can't even like get a house. How am I gonna raise another human being? You
Okay.
know?
Yeah.
Like and do that like shout out to single parents and all that, but like how am I gonna try to do that in the most optimal position for that child, you know?
Yeah.
Just generally speaking.
And that's what you're talking about. The current world state is, right?
Yeah, it's like shit is
Exactly.
just like it's like hard. You know, like people are like working, but I don't know. Maybe like you
Well,
could
I
probably
could
think
be
of another
devil's
angle.
advocate then.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, okay. Go first. You can go first.
Well, long ago, where let's say infant mortality was like ridiculous, and you kind of had to worry about whether you're gonna live till you were a teen, right?
Yeah.
And you had to worry about eating, and you had to worry about surviving. I think in those respects, life must have been harder back then. Because if you're sitting here saying life is hard because you are having trouble figuring out how you're going to put your kids through college,
That's a real thing though.
it is a real thing. But if you're comparing that to how am I going to raise a child to teenagerhood, which will be a triumph, and then worry about education after, I think that survival would be more dire, like a more important thing. And it's
I
not like
agree.
it doesn't happen today. There are many countries out there where this is still a problem. And I think that first worlders, they're blinded by the excess of too much, right? Like you don't need a whole bunch of things that you're worrying about. You don't need this huge house that you think you do. You don't need all this food you think you do. You need enough, but if it comes down to it, you have healthcare. Like if you talking about Canadians, you have healthcare. That's pretty awesome. You have public education. That's pretty awesome too. It's like you're not sitting here worrying like, oh my god, is my baby gonna live till 3? I don't know. Can I feed my child? Can I feed another child till adulthood? I don't know. So in that regard, I have to say life was a lot harder back then. And in terms of evil, I think it was more evil back then too.
Okay. So, yeah, if it was, I think I'm in agreement with the hardship part. It was harder then than it is now, simply because technology has become innovative, where everything's convenient. Not everything's convenient, but everything is within reach. Now, in terms of why I think it's more evil now, it's because, again, technology, I think, has the means for all of us to have access to everything, but we don't. So humanity, I think, has become even more greedy. The wealth disparity has become even larger. Those in power, those of wealth, have become way beyond reach in terms of wealth compared to like the lower classes. And even though technology and like resource, not even resource abundance, I wouldn't say the world is abundant with resources anymore, but there are means that technology will allow everyone in the world to have their, like as Mike said in the chat, their basic needs met. So like there shouldn't be world hunger, there shouldn't be poverty or homelessness. There are means for everyone to have access to all that now, yet humans still prefer and choose to proceed in a manner that keeps those people there and keeps them poor, keeps them hungry, keeps them sick, keeps them at the low class so that they can stay in the higher class, even though we all have access, and we all should have access and the ability to take advantage of what technology has brought us, innovation has brought us. So that's why I think it's more evil now.
So you don't think that back then, where there were kings and emperors, they didn't have the resources to feed everybody?
No. They didn't know how
Really?
to like make mass food for like everyone in the country. I don't think so. Yeah, they had food.
I think that,
Probably
I think
for the kingdom.
they could have.
For the kingdom, but like I don't know,
I think
population
they
of the
could have
world.
provided everyone with a lot of land. They all farm instead of like taking
Oh,
everything,
Well, that's the
and
thing.
having everything.
Still evil there too, right? But there was no real, like, sure, you say you borders. A king might have his kingdom, right? But it's not like the same kind of like security that you'd have with borders here. Like, even if you're out in the land, you give to some person, you're king, and you give this like remote piece of land to somebody, they're not protected by that kingdom. Like, you don't have the same level of like national protection in today's country's like setup as kingdoms back then. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you don't have protection, but
Yeah.
you still have a someone that owns you, basically, and they're not really giving you anything.
Like now or then?
Then
Now?
back then,
Oh, yeah.
and
that's what I
so
mean.
It was pretty dire
Hmm.
compared to here. Like, yes, it's true. We have the means to feed people, but I think it's not that different to what it was. Like if you look back at Roman times, bread and circuses, right? The Colosseum. Yeah, we'll keep them entertained. Just bring tell them to go over there, and we'll give them some bread. Meanwhile, they're taking all of their money through the arena anyway, and they're taking all the taxes. They're just raising the taxes, and everyone's living in despotism. It's terrible, and it's very similar to what you see. It's just worse. Like what you see now is governments keep raising the taxes, the value of the dollar goes down. They have a whole lot of bread and circuses going around in the form of professional sports and anything on the internet, anything that's entertaining. That is the modern day bread and circuses. You throw your money at it. I throw my money at video games. It's the same thing. You sit there and you pay your taxes.
So which one was worse? Sorry.
But
Then.
but
Okay.
but at the same time, I'm still comfortable. It's more of a slow kill. It's more of a brainwashing thing. It's all a dream, and just quietly live your life and just feed the machine while we suck you dry slowly.
Yeah, but we're not the bottom.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Back then, there was no middle class. It was here or here. So just the fact that we have a middle class means that we're better off than back then.
Okay.
Okay, so I was trying to think through what you said and what I like my original point, because my original point was I think that this is the best time to be a human and the hardest time to be a human. But that back then would have been the worst time to be a human, yet the easiest time.
The easiest time to be happy.
Yeah.
I agree.
So it's like, yeah, you know what I mean? Because like I was thinking about it, like you're right, like the infant mortality rate would have been horrible. Fucking disease. If you got a disease, you would probably die because there was no health care. But it's like these were like simple truths, and it's like there was a general acceptance of like, yo, tomorrow when it gets dark, we get raided, and we might all die, you know. So everyone would just kind of like have that general acceptance, you know. They would obviously hope it never happened, but like, you know.
Good point.
So it's like it would have been just like easy to be a human being. Like you could just wake up, fucking train your kids, go to your farm, cook your dinner, go kill your hunt, come back to your wife, tell the kids a story on the campfire, whatever. Talk with your fellow townsfolk.
Yo, Dej, you're using your laptop microphone right now, right?
I'm using my condenser microphone. Why, can you hear me?
It doesn't sound like you're using your condenser. Mike did say that.
What does it sound like?
Sounds like you're using laptop.
It kind of sounds like a laptop mic, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh,
just in the Discord settings, you can check out which device it's using.
Let me see one sec, because it's like reading. But yeah, let me see.
Yeah, sometimes it uses my, like it resets something and
Oh,
then it
what
uses
the
my
hell?
speaker.
Whoa, that's way better.
What the hell?
Oh yeah, that yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Hey, welcome to the podcast.
Hey, man. Hey, guys.
Thanks, Mike.
Oh,
Mike said
man.
Deji doesn't sound like he's using a mic. Sounds so much better.
Hey, y'all. Yeah. Let me get my sexy voice on.
Yeah, it's like 1,000 times better.
But yeah, like now you gotta fucking worry about.
Oh shoot, sorry. I probably should have said something too. I was wondering.
I swear he said earlier he was using his laptop mic, so I was like, okay, that's what I understood. But then it's true. When your webcam went on, I was like, he's got a pop filter and all that stuff, but I don't hear that.
Yeah, my webcam mic was on. But yeah, anyway, like now, like life is like just so much more like the world is so like so much more bigger and like complicated, and it can actually drive a person crazy. Like that's why mental health is like so rampant right now.
Do you think we have too much choice?
Too much, like it's just there's too much volume. There's too much of everything. Too much information. Too much consumption. Too many choices.
So wouldn't you say that one can make life simpler if they chose to?
Yeah,
it could.
I believe that.
Yeah, very much so.
As hard as you say it is to be a human today, it's almost by choice.
Okay, but then, then we can get into like, okay, finish your point.
Well, I was just gonna say because I am much simpler than a lot of you guys. Like, I do not, I'm not on the phone a lot. I don't do social media. I don't look at, my life is simple, and I did that for a reason. Like, there's a purpose, like why I stay away from social media. The big hint to me was basically Steve Jobs not letting his kids have Apple products. I was like, okay,
what?
Well, if the inventor of the damn product that's like leading the world doesn't let his kids use it, there must be a reason. And you know, just the evidence has shown itself since then. But I don't like I don't like social media really. I don't like chasing likes. I don't like chasing views. I don't like any of those ideas.
Mm.
So I stay away from it. So I chose to make my life simpler.
And you feel happier, you'd say, yeah?
Yeah. I mean, if it weren't for my current situation in life, the whole jobless thing, and you know, I think when I'm finally have an income, yeah, I'm very easy to please. Give me a gym, give me a grocery store, and give me a high-speed internet and my computer. I'm good.
Mike just said in chat, social media has good and bad. Mike, I ask you a question: Has it brought more bad than good, or more good than bad? And I posed that question to you guys too. Social media.
More good than bad.
I'm on the more good than bad.
Yeah, it can't be bad for me because I've never been addicted to it. I've never had it sort of dictate my life in any way. So
Right.
it's all good for me. I look at Instagram and I scroll down and see like how my little nieces and nephews are doing, like all in Trinidad and all around the world or wherever that I can't see them. And friends, kids, like I think it's really cool to keep up without even, like without bugging them. I could get a little update and I like that.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
so
pretty cool.
you guys answered in terms of personal, but I mean the world. And same
Oh.
Mike, the world. Yeah.
Where is he chatting? Is he chatting in Twitch?
Uh,
or-
It's like
Twitch.
I'd say it's like 60-40.
Okay, yeah.
60-40 in the favor of good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, as a teacher, I have to go with bad because
bad
I
than good
see
for the
see
world.
more of the effect on our youth, and I don't think it's worth it. I think they're better off without it. I think they're getting a lot worse. Like the benefits of it don't outweigh the negatives, because that's where you see that huge spike in depression and low self-esteem. It's kids on social media at a young age. They start hating themselves. Frankly, mostly girls, but guys too. But I would say fucking everyone probably. They just, if you're not at the top leading the charge, and those are the only people feeling good about themselves, the ones who are getting all the likes and all the friends and all the streaks or whatever. I could talk about that streak thing. A couple of my friends, they're teachers, they were teaching in Kuwait, and their kids use this social media thing on their phones that tracked streaks. So if you like, friendships are dictated now by the length of these streaks you have with your friends.
Okay.
So
Is that like reach?
I don't know what reach is,
Okay.
but let's say it's that. I don't know.
Interaction?
Yeah, so if you like have one interaction or whatever with the app, with your good friend, your streak keeps going. But what would happen is, it's so crazy that if you go on vacation and you break your streak, you're like no longer friends. Yeah, or if let's say you have a best friend in real life, but you have a longer streak with that other person, your best friend's gonna come up to you and be like, I thought we
Yo,
were
it's
best
good.
friends.
Mhm.
Why do you have a longer streak with this person? Like it caused this huge disruption in all the social relationships at the school.
What app was it?
I don't know. I did know, but they told me about this years ago. This was years ago. This was like I want to say 4 years ago.
Watch, it's called streaks.
Yeah, I was like, the last time I heard about streaks was you and Duolingo, and I was like,
Yeah.
it's a strategy used to keep you on the app.
Mhm, for
Because
sure.
I was talking to Dan, and Dan ended up saying how he ended up quitting Duolingo because of the streaks. Because what he found himself doing was he would redo lessons just so he would do them super fast just to keep the streak going.
I do that.
And then he was like, why the fuck am I doing this? I'm not learning anything. I'm like, yeah.
Well, that's his
Fine.
choice.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But it's affecting him. So now he feels like he got to keep the streak, and so he does. Like it's changing his behavior.
Mhm.
And yeah, so this friendship streak thing was absolutely insane. And the younger you get these kids on these social media apps, the worse it affects them. And then it can create this lasting effect, which just gets worse as they get older.
Should it be
And,
regulated?
Should it be regulated? Man, yeah, sure. Yeah. If you could
Give
just
it
ban
out.
all kids from all social media until they're like 18 or adults, then sure.
16.
You think so?
I would be for it just because
I don't think that's fair.
if it can avoid the
We're talking about Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat.
No, we can't do that.
We're not
Yeah,
talking
I
about
know-
like
I know it'll never
YouTube.
work,
We're not talking about
but-
YouTube,
Facebook, Instagram,
Netflix.
Snapchat?
Well, because its own sole purpose is to create media to be viewed and then also acknowledged with likes or like reactions and stuff like that. Those are what those platforms are for. Even TikTok. Yeah, TikTok's like that too. It's not necessarily strictly for, let's say, a media purpose of like when a company is making an advertisement. That is strictly in its source to get people to know about a product to sell it. And it's like it is a professional form where there's money involved, the cost of making the advertisement, and then the return is how successful the advertisement is in getting sales. But social media, Facebook, creating posts, pictures, or like notes or stories or tweets or whatever, strictly for acknowledgement of like support, like a like or a retweet or a repost or a share, commenting, all that stuff. The original content wasn't really made in a professional sense to advertise something other than, hey, look at me. Social media is all about, hey, look at me. Right?
Nah, that's a blanket statement though, because like people post shit on social media and they don't give a fuck about likes. They
But what?
don't caption shit. They just post it because it's a form of expression. Like it's a
But they can do that.
medium.
But they can do that anywhere. They don't even need to use social media. They can do that on YouTube.
I mean, I think that's an easy argument because it's a popular online forum where you can post media videos. Like people are just the average person is like, okay, well, really post my stuff online, but out here of Instagram, I'm just gonna post on Instagram. Like some people just aren't that deep with it. They just post on Instagram and then they fucking log off that shit. So I think, and another thing is like the most creative people on this planet are young people, are kids, and Instagram is a place for creatives. Like the dopest shit on Instagram is the shit that the kids are making. So the quality of the app, even though the quality is shit now, Instagram is so trash. Like the algorithm is garbage. But
Question though, dope
Okay.
stuff is coming from the kids. Why are those kids making the content? Do you think they're the ones that are posting it and then logging off?
because kids are a natural. Yo, you remember playing with GI Joes?
Mm-hmm.
You were just making up stories for no reason, like just fucking Joe. So like kids just fucking just make shit. Like that's just what they do, So
What do you mean by
They're-
best stuff? The best posts.
think
What's
of
the
like
best?
the most recent, like funniest stuff you've ever seen, or like the coolest. That's just cool. Cool. Whatever you deem is cool. It was probably done by a young person. So like your argument is valid. I see a point in regulating it. Like it's like TV. Just make it like fucking PG-13 or some shit. Like you can't post anything above PG-13 content, or you can't see any PG-13 content unless you're like over 13 years old. I don't know. Just like regulate it, right?
Pass-
You can probably have it so that there's a platform
Like
where
rating
you can be a
systems.
creator,
Mhm.
but just eliminate all that shit that could end up with you feeling bad about yourself. So give them the ability to create and upload. Just take away all those little mechanisms that they put in there that create this.
Like what though?
That's
Like
the-
what are the mechanisms?
Like,
Because all it is
like,
a comment and a
likes or comments.
Well,
or-
let's
Yeah,
compare
let's call it
YouTube.
that.
though.
Compare YouTube to Instagram. Not even Facebook. Let's not. Facebook has the added kind of connection thing, like it's like a LinkedIn where you can connect family from around the world and you can connect your coworkers and your classmates.
Yeah, LinkedIn
So
has that.
let's not do Facebook and LinkedIn. Let's just talk about what Instagram is for and what YouTube is for. Right? Similar platforms. Instagram, you can do photos, but YouTube, purely videos. The user can get a free account and put on content to show the world. Instagram, you get a free account, you can put on content to show the world.
Wait, so what's the original, like, the original point? It's like
Of social
think-
media?
no, we think like this should be banned. Is that what?
No,
Like,
no.
I'm trying to get back to the
No.
beginning.
Regulation was for like the kids, like as Kyle had observed from his students, it's hitting the youth harder.
Mm.
There's
I agree.
I'm not gonna say all the youth are getting hit the same way, but
Always-
those who are getting hit hard, and it's detrimental to their like psyche and their upbringing and their like well-being.
It's social media that allows kids to bully after school, right? It's being able to like or dislike or comment on things, or even just talk to people without them wanting you to talk to them. You know, if that's not there, cool. If it's just you uploading your fun videos, that's all good. I do have a comment with Mike here when he said when we were young, magazines and ads were the same. Similar, but I think today it's more in your face because these kids are always on their phone. So it'll be like you staring at your magazine all the time and then putting your magazine in your pocket for like 2 minutes and then taking your magazine out because it shook, and then
Yeah.
looking at a different page in the magazine and then doing that on repeat all day.
Yeah, it's not even close, yo. Like it's like 100 times worse.
Well,
You know, like imagine a magazine like that's like in your brain.
okay,
True.
That's
Let's
like hijacked like your fucking like
like
the cow-
a magazine is advertising to you to buy it, so it has all
I
this
never
stuff.
looked at ads in magazines either.
I never looked at magazines in general, but yeah, because it costs money. So
Yeah,
but the added feature of social media is you can follow the magazine, so that
Yeah.
whenever the magazine does anything new, you get notified that, hey, there's a new thing that this magazine just put out. So it's worse
You
than
can
even
see
buying
it
a
right
volume of magazine. It's like, hey, look, something new, check it out. So
Immediately.
immediately,
like now.
yeah.
Yeah. Now.
So do you think, Kyle, I
Must
have a
be
question
good for
then.
kids.
Do you think it's that content that is being seen by the children, or do you think it's the content that the children are posting and then getting negative feedback from?
Oh, it's both. Yeah, it's the ads. It's
The ads.
it's the world is at their fingertips, so they go on YouTube and they see all these things. They go on Instagram, they see the big TikTokers, and they get a little jealous because they see a talented young kid doing some cool stuff. Well, guess what? Like, that's pretty awesome for them, but it may not be so awesome for another person, because next thing you know, they see a cool dance, they try to dance, they put out a video, and all the people in their school hate them and just make fun of them for it. And now they feel like shit. Now they take down the video, and then they're teased about that. Oh, I saw you took down your shitty video, huh? And now they feel like shit. So like,
So you don't think they should even have the opportunity to post?
no, I do. I'm just saying, if you could somehow have it be only just let them upload what they want, show their art, just somehow take away all those mechanisms.
Remove the evaluation.
Yeah, like evaluation, all the
Ah.
bad feedback they get or might get, because that's what hurts.
Remove the likes. Remove
Because
the comments.
we could talk about all the cool shit all day, but what about all the, I don't know, not so cool shit? Or
But that's what I'm trying to think back to before social media. You know, people had DeviantArt, MySpace, Asian Avenue. MySpace, Asian Avenue are also social media, I'd say, through the
it's
web.
when I think about social media, it's more about the bullying. It's more about the messaging. It's more about posting pictures, because you could post some really bad pictures. That's what happened. That's what happened and is happening when you post like a, I don't know, detrimental or a derogatory or like just a really negative video about somebody in your school, and then that's bullying in itself. You know,
Okay.
you're like, I'm gonna trip this fool, get it on film, dog. You trip him, he falls on his face, he falls into a tree or something. You post the video, it gets like 1 billion likes. You're like, ha ha ha! Reward for being a bully. I'm amazing, right? Like it's not good. And yeah, I'm only pointing out the negative things, but that's what I'm saying. Like the negative outweigh the positive for me. I feel like our younger generation would be happier if they didn't have social media. But that's just my opinion.
Imagine the regulator is, you know, you hire a workforce, some social media experts who are trained to review every post that's being submitted on these platforms. And if it's deemed that it could be like bullying, like a filtering process, like a human evaluation filter before it gets released to public, could that help? Like someone reviewing it, basically always getting reviewed before posting.
That happens though.
I know. Like in YouTube, if I post anything that, well, no, not even if it just swear or talk about something controversial, but like the review stuff is like, yeah, terms of service type of keywords that they're looking for and stuff, and or if I'm using copyrighted stuff, that's the only time really that it gets reviewed.
Yeah.
But besides that,
I don't know. I think
It's very hard.
I think the I think the collective good would outweigh the collective evil. Like I definitely I think it's like 60-40, because I think there's a bunch of evil shit in that social media, you know. But there's a lot of good, man. A lot of dope connections have happened. Like a lot of shit's been brought to light because of social media, like shit that we would have never found out.
yeah.
You know?
I feel like I agree, but I feel like you're talking about adults. I feel like
We're talking specifically about children, right?
well, in my head, yeah, like
Yeah.
yeah. Like let's say
Under 18, like specifically
yeah,
under 18.
Yeah, let's try that. Let's give them the 18 and then go ahead.
Then they can use social media.
That's just what I'm saying.
Yeah, man. I don't necessarily think
Maybe
the
it's-
best
okay,
stuff
maybe
I'm
it's-
seeing
maybe
is
it's- maybe
18 and
50-50.
17 under. Okay.
Maybe 50-50 then. If we're talking like 18 and under, it's probably like 50-50.
Like, because if you think about any kind of direct communication, let's say you are a 16-year-old, 15-year-old, you post some video, whatever the video is or photo, and then you have these people who click like, you have people who comment and even have the ability to slide into your DMs if they want, but they're adults. Like, why does that exchange, why is that even, that potential even possible? Why are you going to allow some stranger adult to directly contact and attempt to get the reaction from this sub-adult
I never thought about that. but
content
yeah,
creation? Yeah,
that's a good point.
that makes sense to me now, actually, because 15-year-olds out there, they don't look 15 anymore. They'll post photos with their friends. Likely, hopefully, most of these kids have parents that tell them you can only have private accounts, can only have followers that you know. Like, you only people that you want followers who can follow you are people you know, and the people you follow, well, I guess it's less less critical of people you follow, but you just don't want that connection from like these adults, these potential predators, right? However, the bully side, you know, private account, let's say you have followers, they're your classmates, but then your classmate's a bully and still ends up, I don't know about that engagement, but then they had to deal with them in person in class anyway too. So I feel like maybe under 18, a limit to how many followers you can have. You know, you can't just
that's not fair either.
under
That's
under 18, man. Like
A limit to how many followers you can have? I
under
don't think-
18. After 18, it's unlimited. But before 18, why should you have more followers than the people you know?
What? Nah, I don't agree with that.
It's like a
I don't
workforce,
agree.
man. You can't even
'Cause you're
hire a kid to work at like at a bakery.
Like-
you can't even work. Anyway, yeah.
That's like saying like, why should you have more friends than all the other people you know? Like people are different. Like you're gonna have different connections with different people because
Why?
like, you're a
Do,
different
but
person.
why do you
Yeah, but
need
that's
strangers to follow you? When you're
a
not an
young
adult.
person- if you're a
Yeah.
young person, like let's say that little kid who reviews toys,
Yep.
and
Okay.
and
Okay.
you're just reviewing toys, and you're followed by like 1 million people, like that's not a problem.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
that's
on
what I mean,
that's on
like-
that is that on YouTube then, or is that on like Instagram because they're
Well,
making
this-
money
this
on
was-
Instagram?
This could be, I think it was YouTube, but he probably has an Instagram now. But like,
Yeah. So do you
I mean,
think
he's probably an older kid now, but yeah, he started when he was like 3.
so? I get the YouTube channel review. You make content, video, it's whatever. But Instagram is a social media app platform. It's made for social interactions with other people.
In my opinion, if you're like Deji's bringing up young talented content creators,
Hmm.
I would say yeah, it's cool to put out content young too. Just take away the comments and take away any kind of way for like your followers to reach you. I would say take that away.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, but then
Well, if
that
you're-
removes
If you're
the
a
point of
minor,
like
I feel like maybe you should.
Because then you could just like,
You'll still have the followers.
I don't know, man. That's like,
you have the followers, but they can't
That's a
like
slippery
or
slope.
comment. I don't think it's a slippery slope. It's just a
Well,
choice.
maybe they could like, but
because that choice already exists. You can turn off your comments.
Yeah, but likes too. I think the like was specifically brought in for the fact that it's the addiction factor of anything personally created. Like Facebook introduced that like button, and that was the biggest thing. What did Mike just say here?
yeah, he's right with that.
The reason why people use these apps is the connection. Twitter allowed people to
connection,
interact
man.
directly with celebrities.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's true.
Yeah, that
That's
too.
very true. But you know, imagine that. You know, adults connecting with these little kids. Like that's weird.
Yeah, but
I-
like, okay.
I'm actually for the whole, if you're 18 and over, maybe you can only interact with 18 and over. If you're 17 and under, maybe you can only interact with 17 and under. And then it's like,
hard.
but then you have fake accounts.
It's just hard with me because I have the problem in my head with teenage self-esteem,
Okay.
and then the other topic with young talented content creators, and I'm thinking, well, that should be great, which is why this is a huge problem to begin with, because you want them to flourish, and you don't want people getting bullied. So it's like, it's kind of like free speech. You're allowed to say whatever you want, even if you're an asshole. You're allowed to say what you want. So that's
Okay.
why. That's basically why you can't touch it.
Mike just asked, why would you only be allowed to interact with your own age group? And
Well,
it's
that's what I'm
not.
saying.
It's the in my proposition right now, it's adults only or kids only. And why? It removes the potential for predatory engagement to happen. Also, this also would require that no one can make multiple accounts. They have to all be verified with age and identification. Because if you can just easily plug in how old you are to install the app and interact with other people in that age group, that's too simple. But the point is the safety factor. And like the trolls, let's say, yeah, you're gonna have kid trolls trolling other kids, but it's even worse if you have an adult who's trolling some kid. Or do you want kids trolling adults too? Like, because that happens too. But it's if they're just trolling. Trolling is like, is trolling entertainment? Like, Deji, what do you think about trolling? Obviously, you go through comments. It's funny. Is it worse? What's worse? Trolling?
I think good trolling is always a positive thing.
Good trolling is a positive thing. What's an example of good trolling?
Like Cameron on fucking what's the name of that racist Bill something?
Bill
The dude-
something.
The white dude on like NBC or whatever, like no one likes him. What the hell is his name again?
Bill Maher?
No, not Bill Maher.
Bill Burr? Bill Cosby?
Bill O'Reilly, that motherfucker.
Bill O'Reilly. Okay.
So Bill O'Reilly is known for being like just like a dickhead,
Okay.
right? So Cameron, the rapper, he goes on this interview with him, and Bill O'Reilly's just trying to like, what Bill O'Reilly does is he just talks over the guests and talks over them and just like, you know, says incriminating stuff about them. So Cameron, he's just sitting there in his I think his outfit was entirely pink, and he had a pink hat on. And Bill O'Reilly's just like saying shit, and Cameron's like, "You mad? You mad? You mad? You mad?" It was the funniest shit in the world, because like Bill just kept getting flustered because it was like the script was flipped on him. So I think that's an example of like good trolling.
I don't think that's trolling. I wouldn't classify that as trolling. Because
Really?
one, the person who's doing it is identified. When you troll someone, it's usually, actually, it's probably all the time, what's the word?
Anonymous? Really?
Anonymous. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Nah. Look at Little Nas X. You don't think what Little Nas X does is trolling?
He trolls people. What?
He's notorious for trolling people on Twitter.
No, you don't have to be anonymous to troll.
Troll.
you can-
Okay. So, but responding to someone who's already like giving you flack, like he's the Bill O'Reilly example you just gave. Clearly, he was insulting Cameron,
Trying to insult him.
trying to
But
insult
Cameron
him.
wasn't getting insulted.
So by Cameron resisting, why would that be trolling? Like, I
I don't know. That sounds like, I think trolling is like doubling down on something in like a funny way. I don't know if that's a good explanation.
When I'm thinking of trolling, I'm thinking of those people on YouTube comments where you don't know who the person is commenting, but they'll like really bash your content or something. Or
yeah,
they'll say something.
I don't think that's trolling. I
What's
think that's
that?
just being a fucking dickhead.
But isn't that what that example that I just said is that not
No,
categorized
that
as
would be
trolling?
considered
Yeah,
trolling.
if
Yeah.
that person, for instance, is doing it just to get a rile out of somebody,
Nah, like you're
Right.
just an asshole.
if they're
Yeah.
actually being sincere with their comment, it's not really trolling.
That's not trolling. Yeah, sincerity is definitely one thing too. Yeah, there's
Trolling
like,
is like, I'm gonna get this guy so mad, and they're
Mm.
just kind of aggravative and just
Yeah.
and
And like, but if it's like
then
funny,
they're just laughing in the back, but they're being really serious with the comments and like just getting the person madder and madder. That's trolling.
but if
Yes.
it's like funny and like that person deserved to get mad, that's trolling. But if
Yeah,
you're just like
usually
bashing
it's
someone,
at the cost of the person getting mad. So everyone's just laughing at that person. Meanwhile,
Yeah.
the troll is laughing the most. So that's why you never feed the trolls.
yeah.
yeah, I think that's different than just like bashing some shit and just being like rude and like getting under like someone's nerves repeatedly. I think that's like, it's trolling, but it's like, no, fuck you, man.
What I don't like I will say, it brings me back to this experience I had not too long ago, where I'm engaging in a conversation, in a group chat, and I think I'm having a serious conversation.
This already sounds funny.
And I would say several messages later is when I realized the other person was trolling me. Okay? So I am getting riled up thinking, why are you wasting my time? I'm trying to have a serious conversation. And what I'm getting back is like it's like triggering a little bit. It's like agitating. And I don't know, if other people were reading it, maybe they found it comical. I didn't see it. I saw it as a complete waste of time because I was trying to be objective.
So you
So-
just being trolled.
I was
Doesn't
being
feel
trolled.
good.
No, by the end I was like, "Oh, you're just trolling now." And she's like, and I think she engaged like, "Yeah, you have to realize what I'm doing." But I didn't catch that on because, for one, it was the first time that I've never had this like interaction with this person before.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't recognize it because I'd never witnessed it before.
Troll from the start.
The first time I've ever been trolled, and it'll be the last. That's for sure. Because I know I will never engage in whatever that was again. If as soon as I know, I would just not respond. I stop. But I thought, honestly, that each response was warranting some sort of like debate. And I was like, this doesn't make any sense. Are you stupid? Like, I was in my head like, what the... I was getting what the fuck moments in my head. But I was trying to be nice. Not nice. At least like direct in my messages. And I was losing it. I was losing patience for sure. I don't enjoy the comment. I don't enjoy that experience.
I think
Well, no one
the
enjoys being trolled.
So why should it exist?
I think the balance
It's
between
hilarious.
like
It's hilarious.
confusion, the balance between like confusion and outright like frustration and aggravation is like where good trolling exists. Like when you get past that, or like when you're not really there, it's like other shit.
I would.
That's what I
warrant-
consider good trolling.
I would say good trolling is when the person deserves it,
Yeah, that too.
right? Because if the
Generally,
person
yeah.
doesn't deserve it, why would that ever be good? Because if the person doesn't deserve it, but they don't understand it's happening, that's just
Yeah.
like, well,
Yeah.
View-
okay,
viewers
that's
of
a good
Twitch
point.
Streamers, I think, must be about 80% of viewers just try to troll the streamer.
yeah.
Because if they fall for the troll on stream, they get like they feel even better about themselves, right? The troll.
Yeah.
So it's very hard. So it's tough when you watch a favorite streamer and it happens to be a really nice guy, a really nice girl, and they're sitting there just trying to deal with these fucking trolls, right? Because you know they're just trying to rile up the streamer, and they have to sit there like, yes, I made this mistake. Yes, yeah.
There was-
okay, yes, I'm the worst player.
I was watching this young female streamer. I'd say young 20s, I think. Cute. Obviously, I think I can't say the word obviously, but I just did. I'm going to say that I will attribute the fact of her physical appearance is why she's gained such a following. Not her gameplay. She's
Can
pretty
we
good.
say that? Is that
She's-
allowed?
She's pretty
Is that
good.
TOS?
but so she's playing
Who disagrees?
she's playing Call of Duty, and she dies. She dies.
Wait, what?
Like
Oh,
she's playing Call of Duty and she dies in the game. She I guess she died in the game. And like one of the teammates, because it was a random squad, so one of the teammates says in like complains in the chat, like the comms near the end before leaving, is like, you're trash. And then someone else fed on that in the chat. They're like, yeah, why do you even play this game? Like, you're garbage. Why, like, whatever. In the chat. Most likely a follower, and most likely a subscriber or whatever. This person wrote it in chat. She saw it. Mods deleted it eventually. The comment in the chat. And then all of a sudden, everyone else, I was watching too, she starts like whimpering, and then she starts crying, because she doesn't have like the fortitude. She's not like thick-skinned.
That's right.
She's sensitive, and I was like, I didn't know about the comment, right? I didn't see the comment, so I was like, did I miss something? Like I wrote in the chat like, did I miss something? What's going on? And other people in chat who follow her like, what's going on? What's happening? Why is she crying? What's happening? And then she's like, sorry guys, I can't really understand trolls sometimes. Like I'd have a very thin skin and whatever. And she starts like confessing that she's not thick-skinned, crying about the fact that her feelings were hurt. Like, this is what she does. I don't know if it's for a living, but I'm gonna say she makes pretty good coin from doing it. Like, she's fine. She can make it as a Twitch streamer. She's fine. But like that troll, whoever that was who made that comment, where the mod removed it, but she saw it in time. She still managed to see it, where it triggered her for her to cry on stream. You know, like,
That's crazy.
why even
Like,
have
for me-
that? Yeah.
For me, that would be a perma ban, and then a lot of streamers have to deal with that kind of shit. Like, they have their own tolerances, so they could tell their mods like,
Yeah.
"Look, you say a comment like that, you're gone," and that's it. They'll never hear that person again. That's cool, and it should be like that, because if you come out with a comment like, "Why do you even play this game? You're trash." That's so shitty. So if that's beyond your threshold, you just tell your mods and you're like, I don't want to deal with that. So then they'll know. And then
Well, yeah, but
that's a permaban. So
the mod
next
saw
time
it, deleted
whoever
it,
does
but
Yeah,
by
but
the
was it-
time it was deleted or whatever, even permaban or whatever it was that they did after, she saw it already though.
that- yeah,
Right,
but
so
it'll,
it's like-
it'll show everyone else that like, oh, if I say that, I'm gonna be permaban. Maybe I shouldn't do that. Because I know a lot that like not a lot, but I know a few streamers, pretty big female streamers. Like, for instance, a few of the offline TV ones. One has a really like baby voice,
Mm.
and just so much teasing about her voice, saying that that's not her real voice and shit.
Mm.
And she was like, I just can't deal with it. So if you mention anything about my voice, permaban. I don't want my community to say anything about my voice. It's just my voice. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
That was it. That was her threshold. So it's like, my community's awesome. If you come in here and make fun of my voice, bye.
Yeah.
Bye
Yeah.
forever.
Yeah.
And so that's fine. That's great. You know, set your boundaries. It's like owning a dog. Set your boundaries, your rules, your limitations, and just abide by them, and you're good.
Okay. So is that not some form of regulation of like filtering a troll?
I mean, that's you on yourself. Yeah.
Okay.
But if I come up to you and you're saying something to my face, I can't tell you. You can't tell me that. I'm gonna permaban you from my life. Like,
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
it's different in real life shit, right? Like, it's different with messaging somebody, like the bullying and like Facebook messaging back in. Like, thank God kids are kind of off Facebook, because I think Facebook was a
Facebook's
bad one for them.
yeah. It's not cool anymore. So you're against likes.
These guys
Not
use
really.
Tumblr?
I'm more against the negative stuff. Like, you know, I just want to avoid hurting self-image and self-esteem. So I mean, does someone getting a lot of likes make you feel like shit? I don't know. I don't
Apparently it
think so.
did. That was a thing. Remember, like a couple years ago, where Instagram removed the total number of likes. Do you remember seeing that? Where
I
Instagram
do, but, like,
did a trial.
I didn't understand it, and now they're back. So
Yes, because now you can choose. They gave every person the choice. Do you want to see or not?
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well,
Apparently,
Then it doesn't
seeing
make
that someone has thousands of likes and you seeing, 2 or 3
I have 20. Oh,
was
man.
like a thing. It created some psychosis thing that like
right.
made people
so-
depressed and shit.
Okay. Well, if that really is the thing, is that if that's part of why social media is bad for youth self-esteem, then yes, I am against it then.
Yeah, but like that's with anything. Like if you see someone with a nice car and you're driving a shitty car, like
Yeah.
you're like,
Okay.
man, my life sucks. Oh man.
Yeah. So there's sort of but then again, you're not looking at nice cars
But-
all day long.
But I like the fact that
You're looking at these
you have
nice
the choice
little
now.
girls
If
all
you
day
don't
long.
want to see it, you can turn it off. Was that a solution? I thought that was a pretty good solution to me. If it
Probably,
bothered
but-
me, I'd probably turn it off. It didn't
But I'm
bother me, so I
wondering-
left it on
I'm wondering if these kids just left it on just because they're
because they need
curious.
validation.
They're curious. They want to see how many, so they leave it on, and then they feel like shit.
Well, if they okay, so if you are curious but you don't have it on, you just click others, and you can scroll and you can see everybody that liked it. It just won't tell you the total number. That the only purpose was so you won't see the total number, because apparently that total number was what was causing people to be like feel shitty. So let's say 10,000 people liked a post, it would show you a name plus others. You click on others, and if there's 10,000, you can scroll forever until you reach 10,000. Otherwise, you're just scrolling. You know, you would never know the total number unless you counted yourself. But
That's crazy.
Like,
Imagine
all this
counting.
stuff doesn't mean anything to me, but if this means something to a little girl and it's ruining them, then maybe I'll gotta think of it's either that or come up with like a class or something for
class.
kids to learn about social media, almost like a social media class
That's a good idea.
where
I'm with that.
you know you raise awareness about, look, we know you have access to all these things, and we know that you're gonna see all these people with all these millions of likes, and you're just a normal person, so this should not
Yeah,
affect you.
that's a really good
Sort-
point.
sort of like reinforce that and just have that as a little thing in school.
What grade?
Well, if you're gonna let
4,
them- if you
5.
if you're
4.
letting whatever age you let them on these fucking social media apps.
Yeah.
Pretty
Start-
sure they probably start around 10. No, not 10. 12. 12.
Grade 4 or 5, yo.
Preteen.
Like,
4
yo,
or
because
5
like,
would be 10,
Like I taught some grade 5s.
11.
I cannot imagine 10-year-olds on social media.
Yeah, I think 10's
Yeah.
too young.
It's fucking insane.
10's
Like
too
these
young.
kids could hardly count.
oh, it's out here. It's happening.
I know.
That's so
Some
sad.
parents allow it. A lot of parents don't.
think- I think 10 is way too young.
10's a
I
bit
think
young.
12 is way too young.
12 is too young too, but the problem is they don't look 12 anymore.
Ugh, I don't know. I mean, I stated my stance. I stand by it.
So you'd go by
I'm-
16
I'm
or
like-
18?
I'm like the teacher. I'm the teacher stance.
18?
Oof. Yeah. Graduate high school.
Graduate high school.
Yeah.
So
Well,
when
yeah.
would the course be?
I guess if you're old enough to do adult things like drive, how about that? Like, sure, you can drive your own damn car. Okay, you can be on social media. I don't know.
Huh, okay.
I just hate, like, these companies spend millions of dollars paying psychologists to design the most addictive features to keep you on the app,
Yeah,
and they
that's-
target
That's
youth
the like.
because youths are the most gullible,
Push notifications. Yeah, man.
and they're the victims. So, like, I'm gonna stand up for them. Like, I'm gonna try and save them. So fuck all these companies. They pay millions and they gain billions. So fuck them.
How old do you have to be to have a credit card? Is that 18?
I think 18. I think.
I think it should be whenever you get taught history.
History.
I think that's when they should teach you the social media class, because it's like
History is-
What kind of
All
history
kinds of
though?
history. It's
Like
like
dinosaur? Dinosaurs
like
are history.
like-
You learn dinosaurs
social
in like
studies.
grade 3.
Yeah, like Canadian
like
history
social
was
studies.
7. That's when I moved. We
like
had-
social studies, that shit.
My first history class was grade 11. Like I never took a history class, but I learned
Like,
about
okay,
history.
what was social studies?
Social studies was grade 10.
I didn't have that.
I think
I
it
had
should
It was
be
called
earlier, man.
called Society, Challenge, and Change. That's what
I
the
had
course is.
a grade 10 history class.
Yeah, I think it should be earlier than, like, yeah, man, because like the way I think about social media is like it's this phenomena, this global phenomena that changes the way that human beings interacted with each other. So that's like a large historical point. So like that's like a leap in our evolution that we should, like, put alongside like history and like biology and all that shit. I think all that shit should be grouped together.
I think it's inevitable. Like internet came, it was inevitable. Like it wasn't just gonna be email. It wasn't just gonna be direct messaging, and like, you know, streaming things. It made sense to interconnect the world through these. Like LinkedIn, if you look at LinkedIn, its model is based on a professional sense. The work environment, right? It's basically Facebook, but for work. Like it's the same wall, it's the same page everyone's got that you can put your accolades and shit and like all your history and contact information, just like Facebook home like profile page. And you can post photos, you can post videos, you can post links, you get likes, you get comments, you get all that same thing. But one's called LinkedIn, the other one's called Facebook.
I didn't know you could do all that in LinkedIn.
Oh yeah, LinkedIn's bump like they've made leaps and bounds to like push their platform. And it's good for them because I think it's a great way to promote your business constantly, right?
Well, if I ever get looking for a job again, I gotta
Oh yes.
It's useful.
up my LinkedIn.
I never use it, but I know I need to have one, just so I'm there, in case anyone needs to ever find me on their recruit or whatever like that. At least it's there.
I get emails. It's like 5 people looked at you in LinkedIn. I'm like, dog, I didn't touch my LinkedIn in like 10 years.
That's always funny. What are you looking at?
Yeah.
What are you looking at over there?
5 bots found me.
Trying to see like, hey man, how's he doing on his job today? His career and his life.
Oh, he's still at the same point as he was
like,
10 years ago, eh? All right.
Same platform, different crowd. I'd say same platform, same crowd, man. It's just a different facade. It's a different face.
But LinkedIn, you remain professional.
Yeah. You wouldn't post a drunken hangover photo thing. Like you wouldn't post that on LinkedIn.
This is for employers and
because it's for
employees.
potential employers, employees.
I will. I want to stand out. The employer's gonna be like, "Who is that guy with the drunk photo? Let's interview that guy." Everyone else is boring.
Like people will pay money.
That guy looked like he was having a good time.
Yeah. Yeah.
What kind of jobs are people able to get nowadays, man?
Well, that's the thing now. Like you can. That was another thing I wanted to come into. Social media, Instagram, influencers is a career now.
Yeah,
you could be
crazy.
Is that good or bad? I say
cool.
that's good, man. I like it. I like the fact that you can be self-made and you can find your path to being self-made a lot quicker now because of social media. If you have that in you, if you have that tenacity potential.
If you got
swag,
some, if you got some that a lot of people want to see on Instagram and you could get sponsors and you can make a living, hell yeah. Why would I not like that?
Yeah, man. Entertainers should be paid, yo, because life is miserable.
Yeah, agreed.
Like, yo, if you can make 1 million people just like forget about their miserable lives, yo, pay that man.
So
Pay
should there be a minimum age to that though?
I mean, like, that's a deeper topic, but I just mean in the general sense of like how people just regard artists as not really like doing something. Like, no, have you ever tried to like make people laugh or like just stand in front of a room and just talk to a group of people? Like that shit isn't easy.
Yeah.
You know, what's the number one fear of people? It's like public speaking.
Public speaking, yeah.
So it's like, it's like, fam,
people
like
fear that more than death. That's such a
there's
cool
something there.
I saw this. I forget what the channel is on YouTube, where they make like these short shows about. The last one I saw was fitness models.
Nice.
So like actual fitness where they work out, or a fitness model where they promote like body love, like like body positivity. So like body positivity, but they're not actually like physically into fitness. You know what I'm saying? And then you have the other
they overweight.
and then you have the other ones that are they're influencers because of the loss process. Like they were big and they're promoting the fact that they're going to hit a target and losing it. And then you have the other people who just they just Photoshop a lot of stuff. It's Photoshop, a lot of Photoshop. So not necessarily, yeah.
I don't follow a lot, but I follow some UFC girls, and
Okay.
Ooh.
like one of them is a legit artist, like a
me.
painter, and she's wicked. And I watched her now she's branched out into the OnlyFans domain, so I guess she's making even more money off that. But she grew her brand through Instagram, through UFC, right? Like UFC connections, and so now she does like she'll host a gallery but have connections with a fighter or whatever, and it's like it's really cool.
Do you think her fame comes more from her work or her network?
Well, she started off definitely. She gained most of the fans for being a UFC girl,
Yeah.
and then so she has a bunch of. I mean, she's basically a model, and so she was approached by a lot of different companies, and so she
Yeah.
has a lot of little videos about like sweet sweat. You know, it's like a product that you it helps you sweat. So like you strap around your stomach, and like you do a workout, and then it just promotes sweating, basically.
Okay.
It's like
Interesting.
so you slim your figure for a beach weekend or something, you know, like we've done that when we like crash
Oh,
diet, you know, want to lose some water weight or whatever, just like
okay. My
Yeah.
question is this then about
a bunch of products, right? So she makes an extra living
Yeah.
off the products on Instagram,
yeah.
and then she makes an extra living off of her art, and then
Yeah.
she's a UFC girl, so she has 3 lines of income
Hmm.
at least, which is great. I'm
And
very
which
happy
is
for her.
more power to any individual who could do that. Now,
Anytime someone starts to send us off with more power, trust me, they're about to give that person less power.
no. I'm not. My question
No,
though,
fuck with you, fuck with you.
my question though is the good-looking person. Like someone who is physically attractive by today's standards, right? I
Okay.
don't think it's wrong. I don't think it's wrong to be able to capitalize on your gifts. Like if you were born
If you got
with
it,
these, if you got it and it sells and you can make money off of it, more power to you. Now obviously guys, we've seen it. You could just see it's all over Instagram. These normal, I'm sure they're like, I'm gonna say normal people because I'm gonna say they're not professional models, they're not hired by some huge company to be, you know, the spokesperson for anything. They're not professional athletes, they're not celebrities, they are normal people, but they're attractive. And just because they're attractive and they have a public account, they're racking up hundreds of thousands of followers, or at least thousands of followers to tens of thousands to up to 1 million for some of these people, just because they're attractive. And because they gain the followers, anything they do, anything new they do, whether it be they'll start their own bathing suit line, or they'll start their own mascara or eyelash line, or paint, maybe start painting or create art, or maybe they do cosplay or whatever it is, and then, you know, but it utilizes their attractiveness, they will succeed even further. Now, you know, you're gonna get likes. The like factor, all these, likely, I'm gonna say 80% probably the fan base will probably be men for the women ones. I don't know how it is. I think it's very different if you're just an attractive male. Attractive females have a very, very specific kind of like following, and those people will, you know. And we mentioned mods earlier. I've seen that too. I'm seeing more and more memes. I think War even posted something about like what a mod hopes to get from like the person they volunteer. Like most mods volunteer to mod a streamer, right?
To your point, FJ, I think attractive. I don't think those are two different scales. I think that's one scale.
What do you mean?
Like in terms of attractiveness, because just generally women are just more attractive than men. I think we can, like, would you say you agree to that?
Why?
In terms of just
in
like
general, males would agree to this. Yes.
softer. No, I think women would agree. I think everyone would agree.
Women
or the-
are
Yeah,
more
yeah.
attractive than men. And are you
Yes.
talking about attraction strictly in the physical visual sense?
Yes,
Okay.
because like softer features, like more like smoother curves. You know, I don't know. I think I think aesthetically, like
Yes.
that scale, it's not necessarily two scales. Like that can actually be one scale.
Okay.
But like maybe a really attractive man is like right here, and like an average one like here. or
Like
something.
like
you
let's
know?
say if you're going to say top 10 people's top 10 most attractive females and then people's top 10 most attractive males. Okay? Let's just say that. Do you think if it was one top 10
List?
any of those males would be in the female list? No. Right? Because probably there's going to be 100 of those females before the number one male can be in the list, at least.
Yeah, so that's to my point, right?
Yeah, it is. It's the same scale you're saying, right?
Yeah.
So we try to keep them categorized so that we can still validate men.
We need some girls.
I think you can still validate. I think you can still validate men, like even with that point.
Okay.
Because like, what was your original point?
Well, I'm saying the fact that normal but yet attractive females are getting the same kind of exposure and viewership as celebrity level individuals.
Dede, you are beautiful.
Yes, Day
He's
you're
a
beautiful.
top 10. He's a top 10 guy right there.
He's top 10 Brack for sure.
I honestly, FJ, I haven't heard a point yet because you were like,
No. Sorry,
"Hey, a
I
normal
interrupted him
girl
though.
Gets all these followers, makes money, and then
Yeah, so yeah,
that good or
the
bad? Is
whole
that what
more
you're saying?
power. Well, the thing is, okay, I know it's hard for me to kind of verbalize it. Because Deji and I touched on this in another podcast about, like, you know, the standards, social media and the standards that we bring upon. Like, this is now, men bring upon these standards of what we think beauty is these days because of social media. But
Okay.
you have these content creators who will flaunt what they got because they fully can and they're proud of it and they're hot or whatever. And 80% of this male audience flood them with likes and reactions and stuff like that. Therefore, all of a sudden, this mechanism that allows them to be like, hey, I think that's attractive, I'm going to click like. Hey, I think that's attractive, I'm going to follow or comment, whatever it is. But now that like becomes this expectation of society that is now beauty, and that's what people have to aspire to be. Did the liker create that, or did the content creator create that? Did the person posting create this standard, or did the people liking it and commenting and following create that standard?
I think a couple of those elements individually combined into something that no one really. I mean, some people probably foresaw it coming, but no one really like saw it getting to this level.
I think you're describing an advanced version of what I'm worried about with the youth, which is in high school you see a very similar thing happening. You see the attractive girl or guy get all the likes, and then they have created this standard amongst the kids for what is pretty or what is good looking, and then they feel like shit. And you just described that in the adult version. And
But that-
what's the answer? We were talking about maybe a class so you bring up where you have to learn that society has its own little norms that it'll push on you, but you have to be comfortable in your own skin. And
I agree with the
maybe that same course could be taught to adults.
I agree with the knowledge factor, like the awareness of what it could become completely. I think I'm trying to segue away from that topic subject in terms of now, like, how social media is creating standards for like beauty. It's creating standards for like fitness. It's creating standards for like for you to be warranted as a validated person of your category. You need to hit this standard. Like,
Well,
you know what I mean?
I'm sort
Influencer.
of talking about it as well.
Yeah.
I think that we as adults need to be aware of this new standard created by social media as what is beautiful,
Right.
and you should not abide by that
Should not.
because that is
Is it-
the magazine cover.
Is it
That
false?
That is the 1%. That is, if you look at yourself in the mirror and you don't see you don't feel like you're as pretty as the social media peoples, you have to be okay with it. You have to be okay with yourself. You still have to feel beautiful. You still have to feel value, even though here's some people getting paid just for being pretty. Good for them. Good for them. They're
Yeah.
on their thing. That's, it really, to me, is the same thing that I was thinking of. It's the same. Like, so what? There's all these people, good-looking people, making a living being good-looking.
Right.
That's awesome. Good for
Yeah.
them. I
It's-
still feel good about myself.
Yeah.
Right, like,
do you that's what I'm getting to. Like, you know how people get angry at this? People are
Right,
angry
yeah.
at this what apparently men have created this new standard because of social media of what they think beauty
Ooh,
is.
Tom,
Influencers. What's up, Tom?
what's up, Tom?
yo,
And
I'm good.
so there's complaints, but are we all in kind of agreement there? Like, these complaints shouldn't exist? Shouldn't happen?
I don't think.
Complaints
to me,
about good-looking people making money.
It's all right.
Complaints that social media has created this standard of beauty because of the inherent structure of or process of what social media is, the likes and shit. Like, why are all these normal people but they're good looking, they're thin, or maybe they're not thin? There's like different levels now of beauty. You've got the model thin tall, you've got the thick with like the Cardi B kind of a hot thing, like whatever, and then you've got all the ranges in between, right? Like, and you got cosplay, fetish people, anime, whatever, like, or
This is like one of
fitness,
those
bikini.
things- Yeah, I think that's because I'm fucking old school. I'll tell you one thing. I've noticed a lot of social media since I fucking had it when it was all in its infancy. None of that shit was around, even in its early days. The one thing I always know, there's a fucking trend, and I'm gonna say this clearly, and this is my opinion only. But I always see when there's a sense of sexuality put on there, it's always somewhat the woman posing and enticing maybe the men. And that's where it kind of develops from. Like when I look at Instagram before, or even Facebook, you didn't see a lot of that stuff going on. But then as it evolved, people are starting to look for the likes. People are starting to look at that. And then you see that sexuality come in. I'm going to tell you this. I'm a guy, and I love looking at fucking sexy women on a fucking social media platform, right? It's very primary. Because in the reality is when you meet someone, sometimes, man, they're just not cool enough to fucking hang out with and shit, right? So just like what he said, it's a magazine cover. It's a magazine cover. So when you say that has social media or
you buy
the
the
men,
cover model, yeah.
yeah, you know what? It's a one man, and they probably took 50 fucking shots before they picked the right one.
Yeah.
Put on there, right?
That's before editing.
And before Photoshop and all that, and filters.
Shit. Yeah. I don't know what the deal is, but I always see women doing the pose. Like I swear to God, and I'm okay with that. But
I know
why are
those
they mad at us
poses.
for looking at it? Yeah, why are they mad at us men for looking at it? God damn. You know,
Right.
like,
And it shouldn't be,
Yeah.
right? Like, obviously the people
No.
getting mad aren't the people creating the content. And obviously the people getting mad aren't the people liking the content. There is this
Yep.
third party that now looks
The
upon
victims.
this.
Who are the victims?
Yeah. Right, but you have the victims for one, the one side of the victims who get depressed and feel like shit. And then you get the other side of the victims who complain.
Like, what victims are we talking about here? Like, are we talking about, like, I know this is a big thing that's been coming up now with the whole Facebook thing, again, in Congress and shit like that. But is it, and from what I remember and reading, it always seems to be that it's always the women that need more protection and shit like that. You know, because it's
Right.
causing. They're always using that women are. You know, I don't hear them saying about the men. I don't hear that in these newscasts, like the men feeling all kind of this and that, like, and that's
Well,
okay.
that's the
I
thing.
get
We
it.
aren't regarded in the same eyes. Like
Exactly.
generally, like women or other men wouldn't look at
Exactly.
attractive men and
Exactly.
behave like men would do. Like, you know,
We
like
don't need to show our legs out there because us men are animals. We're hunters. We got to get there and fucking make them laugh. Got to fucking buy 'em dinner, something, right? Where women
no, we
are
need a
men.
six pack. We need big chest, big
No.
back, shoulders,
No,
a beard.
you don't.
You know.
No, you don't. You know, there's two ways to look at it. And the simple thing is, man, either you can have a big dick and show everybody, or you have a lot of money. That's your
Right.
two simple things. But the reality is, most people, when it comes to, you know, we all have friends who are dating and in relationships, and, you know, you're past that fucking look stuff. I'm sure at some point you've met people that have said, like, he's not usually my type, but somehow he got to me, or vice versa, right?
Yeah. Okay. Well, what about the whole feature too with sliding into DMs on
I just
social
learned
media,
about that this year. I learned about that.
where you
Sliding
know
into the DMs. I learned about that.
people will go straight into direct messages.
Yeah, no,
and-
that's weak, man. That's my opinion. It's weak.
Hey, I'm
Weak.
just my question, not question, but like the observation here is men will do that more. I'm trying to think, if you can imagine whoever the most attractive male is on Instagram, how often do you think his DMs get slid into by women who just want to objectify him?
Probably all the time.
All the
But
time?
we just don't talk about all the time. You don't think women throw themselves at men?
Well, do you think do you think then the men are just not as like are not as like thrown off by it as women are?
Oh yeah, exactly. We have a different threshold. I don't care if a woman hits on me, fat, ugly, or pretty, right? It doesn't bother me who looks at me, because number one, if we're talking about, I won't get offended if someone I'm not attracted to is eyeballing me.
Okay,
You know,
yeah.
it won't make me uncomfortable. But that's what I'm saying. It's a different
women-
threshold.
But okay.
Different threshold. That's what I think. Remember we were talking about this. I think men and women should be treated fairly, but doesn't mean we're fucking all equal, because that's not really entirely true. I think women need more protection
Yeah.
from
I was-
just a
I was
general
just about-
standpoint.
I was just
Okay.
about to say, to your point, like it wouldn't make you uncomfortable because, you know, like worst comes to worst, you could probably fight that person.
Shit out of her if I wanted to. Yeah, you want to. You know what I mean? Like if I'm talking like a brash male, I'd be like, "There's no way she's taking me out," because I'll
Yeah.
fight back even harder. So I
But
think
if
that.
you're a chick
But
and
you're
it's
a
a
chick,
dude doing that to
yeah.
you, that's scary.
Exactly, like, you know, no grabs, you know, stop it. I get that, and I believe that we should not say that we are men and women are capable of handling the same stress levels or stress tests or situations, because that's not. I don't think that's entirely accurate. I think women and men should be treated fairly, 100%. But I don't think it's actually necessarily that it could be just equal down the line. I don't think it really works that way.
Okay.
Because you know, like when you're talking about every time I see the newscast right now, and it is talking about how women, especially young girls, it seems to be the real topic right now in Congress. You know, how young girls are very affected mentally and stuff like that. You know, like how would you change that stuff? I mean, there's probably some good ideas, but will it go into effect?
We
You
had
know?
some ideas before you got here about like age,
Yeah. Age of
minimums,
consent.
you know.
I think that people don't realize. I don't think what people don't realize is that when you put yourself on the net, you expose yourself to much more than just your classroom, your sphere of influence. You
Yeah.
expose yourself to people you're never gonna fucking meet,
Yeah.
that can chime you up, right? Not say you're fucking ugly, and then boom, you're gonna get offended by some girl from the Philippines says you're ugly, and a girl from China says you're ugly, or gives you a thumbs down. Like, seriously. But that really is gonna affect people.
But yeah, so what we were touching, shout out to the Philippines and China. But
If I say another country, it could be racist, so I just picked the country. I'm Filipino, right? So it's okay.
You know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah, we were saying that for sure. I think we all agreed that there should be some training or course or like academics thing involved where before anyone can like sign up for social media, there's like, you know, a class or a course you could where you
Man,
can
what
teach
about
you.
the parents, man? I don't. You got to
The
start with
responsibility of
the
the
parents.
parents? Okay,
It's
yeah.
gotta be, it starts in the home. It starts in the home.
Yeah.
I think it starts in the home. 100%. It always starts in the home. And I know that there are some pretty tough homes out there. But what I'm saying is, in the reality of it, before it becomes a very big social issue or becomes society's problem, as Denzel Washington said, it all starts in the fucking home.
I think
So
in terms of starting from the home, that level of knowledge will be transferred if the parent is already well versed in social media. But this generation right now, most parents
this generation is a gap. Like
They're-
our parents
yeah.
don't know shit.
Yeah, they don't know anything
we're okay.
about. But
We're okay because,
yeah.
you know,
I'm
But it's this new
sure we'd be able to
generation.
transfer quite a bit of information now to the future gen.
absolutely. And you know what? I'll tell you one thing. If I had a girl, you're not getting on fucking social media till you're at least fucking 17 or something.
17.
You know?
Oh, interesting. I was
So,
gonna
old
wait
enough
for
to
that.
get- you know, like seriously, you have real friends in real life that you could fucking hang out with. Don't worry about the fucking strangers.
Well, it's the
That's-
like
that-
thing. We
that-
were talking about the dopamine hit of the
I know.
like the reactions. Like,
Yeah.
should that be removed if you're under 17? Should
People
comments
could,
and likes
how
be?
do you verify? No, I mean you
Well.
could, sure, you could absolutely. You could tweak your platform, but these people are going to tweak those platforms unless they're forced to. I mean, seriously.
I mean, it used to be that you could only hold like one Facebook account. It used to be you could only
Exactly.
hold one Instagram, but now
Is this
now
on
they're
the
like,
air?
oh, it's more prof. Yes, it is. Of course, it is.
Is this on the air? Okay. Well,
Yes.
what I'm going to say is that I think a lot of the problems that women are facing is between is from women. A lot of the times, because they compete hard against each other like you wouldn't fucking believe.
Okay. So
Yeah, especially with
problems, how
peers and
so?
stuff like that. Well, number one is that when they talk about how somebody looks and all that, that's not really a guy thing, as bland as that sounds. Like, well, no, man, I don't like that shirt you're fucking wearing today. What's the deal?
well, that's fashion. That's different. But like,
Exactly. You
we
know,
could just look at a
those-
body, clothes
Yeah.
or not, as long as that body is some particular
I'm telling you.
figure.
I think women are their own worst critics and their own worst competitors half the time because they're always trying to one up each other. I think this generation, because it's all about,
Question,
like you
Mike.
said, the likes, and they don't even know who's giving these likes. I think. Can you tell who gives you likes?
Yes.
You
Oh,
can.
you can? Oh, I
Yes,
don't know.
you can.
Yeah, I don't know. See, like, like how many likes are you looking for? Like, what's the magic number? Some people have a fucking ridiculous number in their head when they're okay. Like, oh, I only got 500. That's not enough.
There
I'm
is
pissed.
no magic
Or something.
number. It's
know what I mean?
always max. How
Yeah,
many likes you
well,
looking for?
Exactly.
Maximum. Like that's what you
Yeah.
want.
me all the likes. I want all.
Okay, Mike asks, is it better to withhold social media till 17 or have them understand what it is earlier?
I would think
Or
that
both.
number one.
Or both?
So I would say,
Like, I mean, at the end of the day, does not
Hold
a
on,
parent
hold
still
on.
have a fucking say?
Tom, let's go with Kyle first.
Yep.
well, I would say to Tom's point, like, he wanted it till after 17, but
That's just me, you know.
if
Just
you're, well, no, I kind of agreed
For
with you
his
earlier.
daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I come from a perspective of a teacher, and I see how it affects the youth, and I'm more worried about the youth than the adults. But really,
Yep.
it's the same thing, because the problem FJ brought up, what I realized is that those people complaining now were probably introduced to social media in high school, and they're adults now. So they went through all that crazy shit in high school with the likes and all this crap, and now they're young adults and now they're offended, or something like that. It just seems like the same situation but exploded into adulthood. But it's important to me for the kids to truly understand social media, and that's why I bring up, like, even creating like a course or just a unit within, let's say, social studies, as Deji would bring up. This is a social media, obviously, is a social aspect of our society, so you can create maybe a unit at a younger grade level. And that's because honestly, you can't always just trust the parents to be good parents. As a teacher of
That's
You know,
true.
there's
100%.
those two classes. There's like academic, and then the other one. I forget what the other one was, but
Oh yeah,
I taught it. I just can't remember.
advanced,
It's not coming to my head. No,
Yeah,
academic
advanced
was
and
the
general and advanced.
yeah,
general
basically
advanced.
general and
Back in
advanced,
my
right?
day,
Yeah, yeah.
Basically, yes, it's ridiculous, but basically it's like smart and not smart. And I
well,
taught
I mean,
in grade
yeah,
10.
Important.
What I said, yeah, so you can't trust the parents because what you see in school, at least in the public education system, is if your parents care about you, you'll do fine.
for
If
sure.
your parents don't show any kind of
Yeah,
concern for your education, you will become one of those that fall through the cracks.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
and it's like extremely evident. But
100%.
let me see what's happening here.
Ren
So
says
yeah, so
also can't trust teachers to be good teachers.
that is also true as well.
True too.
Uh,
See,
so
so you're gonna
so
have to,
the best the ideal thing is if you have great parents who care about you and teach you about good education and social media and everything else, and you have good teachers that can go above and beyond, you know, then you're set. But how often are those conditions met? And that's where you have to kind of talk about, I don't know, what can the government do to sort of try and ensure that these kids, you know, at least are aware of the dangers of
Okay,
social media.
I'm gonna just interject. I'm pretty sure that if anyone was to like YouTube search what is social media, there's probably plenty of content out there that would have that subject matter, or this course or whatever this training is going to be, and probably already exists on YouTube or wherever, where you can watch all of this stuff already. It's already available. It's like, one, will kids look that up? And two, even if they are forced to listen to it and watch it, will they consume it? Will they actually understand and adapt and adopt it? Right? It just like anything you learn in
yeah.
school. You know, like are you really gonna retain? Like, is
Well,
it really gonna hit deep?
If it's
is it
interesting,
really,
it will.
as an educator, or whoever's educating, does that really need to be a subject now? A social media subject?
Well,
I mean,
just like even like finances and credit cards, like that should be in schools
no,
too, right?
it
Like,
should be. It should be. Exactly. Like, I mean, like, I mean, that's going to take a long, long time because people are exposed to that social media stuff now, like, that's at such a young age to some degree, right? So,
here's my theory about why I don't think it's in school and why it won't be in school, similar to why credit cards and financials aren't in school. Because the addiction is profitable.
mhm.
So, like, if you can figure out a way for people to outthink and to beat the addiction of social media, it's not profitable. They're not going to want that. The government's not going to want that because it's more tax money. Just like with credit cards, if you can outthink finances and debt and whatever, that's not profitable, so they're not going to care. You know, like,
Well, that's the main issue right now with Facebook in Congress, right? Is because that is a private entity that's making a shit ton of money, and the government wants a piece of that. They're
Yeah.
trying hard. It's not the fact that they're worried about. This is probably at the end of the day could be just the facade, you know, like they're just talking about that. But if they get a piece of that, their tune could fucking change pretty quick too. Now that they're in on it, right? Because the whole concern now in Congress is that does a private company, should they hold that kind of information? You know, it's probably like, if not the biggest social media platform and all that, and what are they going to do with that information? And they're making billions. And the government says they don't, should they have that right to make that kind of money and have all that information? And I think that, they're trying to somehow get their way into that, so they're going to be a piece of it in some way. Don't know if it's going to happen, but that's what it looks like is where it's trying to streamline, you know?
would you guys say data collection is probably the most profitable in social
Yeah.
media? It's not the ads, it's not the...
It's pretty crazy.
It's got to be the data collection and then selling the data collection to companies who want that shit, right?
Exactly.
It's pretty.
You know
insane.
what? It's that's the whole biggest thing. Remember that thing in 4 years ago when Cambria, what was it? Cambria Analytics,
Analytics, yeah.
the big Trump thing and all that, and all
Right.
people are saying, Trump fucking,
Don't
you know
sell the
what, that
data.
company, Trump got the data from them and all that stuff. I'm like, they sell that data to everybody, but
That's true.
because a man right here was, tied to it,
They
they're
don't
saying,
sell the data. They use the data for the ads. Right.
they sell the data. Everybody sells
No,
data.
dude.
Back in the day, that's what people did, right? Like the yellow pages and all that shit. They sold that shit. Bell collected all that shit and sold it. All that data that was available.
So chat,
Right?
Tom says, sorry, Mike says in chat, he said they don't sell the data, they use the data for the ads. What I'm saying is that data dictates the price of the ad. Like,
Is that what Facebook does?
yeah,
I don't
for
know
sure.
much about that.
I don't think,
Because you don't know. I don't know if we know everybody's financials in that company. I'm not 100%. Do I think that they
well,
could
they
possibly sell
claim
it?
of
Exactly.
course they'll claim they don't sell the ads.
Exactly.
Like that's part
So
of
I'm
the,
thinking
the
with
privacy
Graham's
agreement. Yeah.
But
To me, it's kind of like saying a drug dealer doesn't sell drugs.
exactly. So yeah,
That's
but
just
I'm
what it
telling you
sounds
right
like to
now.
me.
Yeah.
I'm like,
All right. Mike
Yeah.
says,
Behind
what's
it.
more profitable, selling the data or using the data and being the only place for better targeted ads?
Selling
But
it,
that's
it's a
no. What
done
I'm
deal.
saying is the selling the data. It might not be here, company, take this data and work with it, because that company's not going to be able to do anything with all that data. Like the
Depends, right?
what it is Facebook understands all the data, understands
Yep.
now this is the place where this kind of ad would work really well. So you charge more. You charge like a nominal price for that category to be advertised in that spot. So it is technically selling the data, but it's not directly, because exactly. So you have to define what sell the data means. That's what I mean. They don't.
'Cause I
No,
think,
they don't.
when it comes,
I guess that's how he
it's,
gets away with it. He doesn't sell the data.
maybe, as far as we know, anyway. But trust me, data collection has been used all the time. That's why you would get phone calls back in the day from, they want to take your surveys and shit like that. People would answer those, and they'd sell that information. Like, it goes back to old school. Like, Yellow Pages used to collect a whole bunch of data and stuff like that, and sell. Bell, one of the biggest conglomerates here, the local Stentor, they collect everybody's fucking data, and they sell it. I know that because I used to work at that company too, and it's legal. It's legal.
Yeah.
But
So yeah.
for Facebook, I think the reason why that information is number one easy is because everyone puts their shit in on it anyway.
Yeah,
Right,
here's
though,
that's
the
the
big
thing though, like for all these people who get, and not to knock on the people who are like anti WhatsApp, anti Facebook because of privacy. I mean,
Sure.
if you don't want it there, then okay. Don't use it.
Yeah.
But the people
Yeah.
who do use it and then complain is like,
Yeah,
well, that's stupid,
that's
because
stupid.
like you
That's
know why
stupid.
you're getting it for free because of that. Like that's basically
People don't understand. I think that's the one thing that people have to realize. Maybe that's one of those things people should more focus on, is that once you put that information there, it's available for other people. Like you're willingly giving it, and people don't, I think, realize that. It's like that whole thing, right? When you tell your gal pals, make sure you don't send those titty pics because JPEGs are forever, man.
right.
Like it's the same thing.
I remember when someone posted something on their wall of like, let this be a statement that Facebook cannot use my photos and my posts and stuff.
Yeah, right.
And then it became this viral thing that everyone kept sharing and reposting on Facebook, just these wall posts. I'm like,
You can
that means
screenshot the shit.
yeah. It was like
Screenshot, copy it, whatever.
it was such
You
spam. It was just spam.
you gave up the rights to it, to be honest. Once you put that on the internet, your rights on that thing is pretty much gone. That's just the way it is. Like there's no way to stop that right now, unless so if you're going to put anything on the internet, just be ready that it could be somewhere else and in places you don't want it to be.
Yeah.
That's just I think that's the power for sure of social media, is that everyone forgets that you put so much shit on there that you can't get it dial back. Have you ever tried deleting stuff? And I think it's even hard. My buddy, one of my classmates, he was like, man, I can't even delete my Facebook account. I don't even fucking use it, and they're still asking me all these questions. So it's even hard to delete an account.
It's tough to delete stuff. I
Yeah.
get frustrated.
Crazy.
I
I
get
didn't even
frustrated
try.
in some apps where I'm like trying to I don't want this account ever again. Like I don't even want it ever. I don't want it back. And just to find the setting to actually delete is
Yeah,
sometimes
very
crazy.
impossible
like
for some of these. I hate it.
and
for some of
fucking
these.
yeah. So it's
But-
always gonna be a fight. So you have to be. I think for a lot of the newer gen is that, just like you said, we have how many 4 or 5 social media outlets right now? Who knows how many there'll be in another fucking 5 years that come out? You know, everyone's got a
Word.
TikTok. Everyone's got, we don't know.
Oh man,
So everyone's
TikTok.
just, I just discovered TikTok. I think it's funny. I only have a couple videos and shit, but I think it's funny. But imagine what other devices social platforms are going to appear, because there's always entrepreneurs out there coming up with something.
Well, a lot of people try. Sorry, Warren
VR.
reminds
you of the Wardy Joubert prank. I don't know what that is. I probably have to Google that. His pic made it online and became a prank to everyone. Gotta look this up. Okay, so I do see a lot of these new apps trying to be developed to like compete. I've been approached by a number of like the new YouTubes who are like, hey, we're creating this new platform where it's gonna be better than YouTube. You can make more money than YouTube, but they fail, and I'm sure.
There's
I mean,
hundreds,
Vine failed too. So for some reason, why did Vine
Big black
fail?
thick guy.
Huh? Big black
I
dick
saw
guy.
where
Oh, yeah. I remember that guy.
Rest in peace.
I remember this guy.
Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
What did you pair? Thanks for sad stuff. Wait. What happened?
Oh no, that
What
comment
happened?
just enough.
He said
I
sad
don't know if anything
stuff.
happened to him, but he died.
Who?
Yeah, but why is it sad stuff? Oh,
Who died?
Wardy Joubert.
Who's that?
Oh, after his I think he was a guy who was asked to model adult photos, and he's just a normal guy, and he became a meme, and his meme spread around, and eventually his identity was no longer affiliated with the meme. He ended up dying somewhere down the road, and is in person, like in real life, like normal death.
Yeah,
and somebody I think recognized after, like, hey, this is the meme guy, and it was much later that it was recognized that this guy was the creation of this.
Oh, okay.
His fam had no idea about his meme. His
yeah,
pic
a lot
was
of
still
money
being
was
sent
made
around.
off him for sure. Except he didn't.
Is that the guy with the sweater?
People made money off merch with his face and paid nothing to the
What's his name?
If you don't know the picture, then I guess you don't know it.
When you see it, I'm sure. I'll put it in. I'll put it in.
The world's most
The first meme I ever remember seeing was the guy with the braces. Like he's got the red sweater and shit. That's like one of the oldest fucking memes.
Oh, like it's like white.
Yeah, his high school picture. Yeah, the white kid with the braces. That's one of the oldest ones.
I'm just gonna put his name in the Brack General chat if you want to Google him, then you'll know. Okay. Oh.
Dude, JPEGs are forever. I told you. JPEGs are forever.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah. You can't get shit off the internet once it's there.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
So this stream started off talking about Facebook outage. Thought it was a whistleblower thing. Turns out it was, well, we'll say it's actually a technical issue that happened, that they were DNS servers or whatever.
They got hacked.
They were down for 6 hours, and then we eventually kind of like moved on over to like the toxicity of social media. Should we bring children into this world now, where the world is, less and less people want to have kids these days.
There's other places in the world that are worse, so I mean we're okay over here.
Other places in the world that are worse. Okay.
Yeah, we're okay over here.
So let's start wrap it up in terms of like, I mean, okay, we've learned, at least if you have other activities and other things that you can fulfill your day with, you don't have to rely on like even YouTube and Netflix and other streaming services. But when Facebook and Instagram and WhatsApp were out, it wasn't a big deal for any of us. A big deal. Okay? It affected our lives more so as a nuisance, but it wasn't like hugely detrimental where it took away from our day. But we understand, hopefully in general, I think hopefully as a population, as a world, understand now the convenience. Just like what that we don't take it for granted, the fact that we have the access like that on a daily basis. Hopefully we get that out of it. Not just a bunch of people like complaining about why isn't it working? It should be working. This is something I should have every day. Because it's not.
Oh yeah, that.
Because there were a lot of those people like, why? Oh my god, blah, Facebook. Wow, what's wrong with you? WhatsApp? Seriously, come on, like as if they were entitled to this service.
You're not even paying for it, I know.
Yeah, well, they are with their data. So in terms of social media, I guess we're still on the fence. We're kind of understanding that maybe there is some sort of limitations, age restriction, maybe remove the likes and validation so it's less. Basically, it should be a conversation that I think we all agree. It should be a conversation between the child and whatever socially responsible adult hopefully introducing it to this person. Or even if you're not introducing it to this person, share the knowledge. The kid I teach every week, this 10-year-old, I bring up sometimes, like my social media. He knows about my stories and stuff like that. And he's like, I don't have a phone yet. I'm social media. I'm like, good. That's fine.
Yeah,
you don't need it.
Outside and play, man.
You don't need it. But when it's time, we could definitely have a call. We can have a talk, or when you're ready, I'd be happy to like give you the rundown type of thing. Like I want to make sure too that he understands, because I mean, understanding too, like watching him grow up for the past 4 years and what I've seen through the pandemic and his social interactions, and perhaps maybe he could be spectrum or or dealing with bullies or anything like that. That's going to be a sensitive time when he starts to adopt social media. It's going to be a decision his parents are going to have to make. Luckily, his parents is a high school. One of his parents is a high school teacher, so I think that's one of the resisting factors as to why he doesn't have it yet. Which is he's 10. Like,
no,
he shouldn't have it yet.
How are you going to talk to you? Man, go outside. Play street hockey or something, man.
When you hit the 12, 13, 14, 15, that's when concern comes in. Because it's cool. It's when you think it's cool, the talk. Yeah, exactly. Anyone else want to say anything in summary? Or like, I don't know, something. To these people out there, one thing I learned is if you recognize trolling, pull away. Like, don't participate if you're getting trolled.
Troll, FJ, don't feed the troll.
And don't troll either.
Right?
I would say don't troll. I'm like, don't waste people's time with trolling.
Everyone knows what they can handle. So I'll say everybody, social media responsibly.
Social media responsibly.
I would say try your best to be comfortable in your own skin. And try not to be bedazzled too much by the limelight that social media allows you to see. And you must change the lens at which you view the world. So keep it baseline and
keep it real.
Don't take try and not take too many things for granted. Like what we were talking about earlier: electricity, water, food.
Yeah. Healthcare, education.
Basic. Be happy.
Yeah.
Simple. Be happy.
Dej?
Yeah, just remember, like, at the end of the day, you're still talking to someone that's in front of a screen. They probably wouldn't say that shit to your face if they're saying some weird shit.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind, too.
That's right.
One last thing, too, about not even just the likes. Personal note, I think I was humbled for the past 5-6 years watching my social media die. Or not die, but let's say just it's dying. I would say I hit my quote unquote peak in like early 2010s, maybe mid 2000, like at most 2014, and since then I've just watched the decline of my social media, and it's been a humbling experience trying to understand the viewership that I had then and seeing where I am now, and understanding too, like, I think it hit me harder in the beginning, watching the drops every year, like 15, 20, 30%. It was just like, wow, like I was losing that validation, I guess, that I had gained over the years, like building these followers, these views. And it's not easy. It's not easy. The come down anyway. So like, it's a job. If you're after the likes, it's almost like it's after a paycheck. It's just you're not actually getting money. So if you want the likes, you're not gonna get it with half-assed work. Like the people who really earn their likes, and I'm saying not just the hugely attractive people who can post whatever they want. They get all their simps like liking and following and subbing and all that stuff. Not that example, but like if you really care about the likes, care about your content, make it quality, and like treat it like a paycheck, because that's the only way you're gonna increase that number. Otherwise, treat it like anything else. Shrimps. I can't say. Oh man, I can't say that word. You're right. Actually, I can't say that word. Shrimps. But I forgot about that. I think they do. If you say it in chat, like it won't even show up. Right. Otherwise, if you're not, the likes should not mean more than just being thankful for whatever you get. Be thankful for whatever you get. If you want more, treat it like a job, because that's what it is. It's like it's any currency. Oh, it's working there. What about no S? Can you say it without the S? Anyway, I swear, or maybe someone unmodded it, or a mod. Maybe somebody made it okay. I think someone did make it okay because I typed it once. Anyway, thanks guys for tuning in this week. I think that was a really good exchange, and like some personal stuff in there. Yeah, I think a mod made it clear because someone did mention it in a previous chat, and then like we okayed it anyway. Next week we'll see you again Thursday, 10:30 p.m. Eastern here, Twitch, and then it'll be live on YouTube. If you like this podcast, let us know. Comment below. Hit the like. Hit the sub. Follow. Film. Get my addiction back up. Give me validation. Get me back up there. But yeah, thanks guys. We'll see you in the next one. Peace. Thanks for watching. Thanks for coming, guys.
It was a good one.